This is Jared Halpern. Russia launched another barrage at Ukraine, killing at least 16 people. 7 people are dead in a murder-suicide in Iowa, all from the same family.
Police called to a home in Muscatine, about 50 miles southeast of Cedar Rapids. They say when they got there, they found the first 4 people fatally shot. They then say they tracked 52-year-old Ryan Willis McFarland to a trail where he took his own life as officers closed in. 2 other relatives were later found shot to death at another location.
That's Sue Guzman. America's listening to Fox News.
Fox News Books has boasted a host of bestsellers. Now, Fox News Books enters the world of podcasting. This season, the Fox News Books podcast presents The Miracles Among Us. For its first season, Fox News Books will present this special podcast brought to you by the author, Fox News senior medical analyst, Dr. Mark Siegel. The Miracles Among Us on the Fox News Books podcast. Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download podcasts.
Hello, everyone. This is Ainsley Earhart. Thank you for joining me for the 52-episode podcast series, The Life of Jesus.
Neil McDonough portrays Jesus. Stacy Keach, Sean Astin, Michael York, and Kristen Bell provide the voices for some of Jesus' notable followers. A listening experience that will provide hope, comfort, and understanding of the greatest story ever told, the life of Jesus.
Make sure to spread the word.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
A win for transgender rights activists in a federal appeals court, keeping in place a judge's block on a Trump executive order to remove transgender troops from the military. The ruling allows those troops to keep serving, but does not allow new recruits. War Secretary Pete Hegseth reacted on X. See you at the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, on a video on social media, Hegseth also keeps pushing to boost the Pentagon's budget to $1.5 trillion.
The secretary said that not enough has been done for the military off of the battlefield for far too long, and announced that $90 billion will be spent on service members' living conditions.
When they return to duty, they're met with outdated facilities, substandard barracks, and too often, straight-up hazardous living conditions.
Hegseth also specified upcoming pay raises.
This budget includes the largest pay raise for our troops in modern history, up to 7% for junior enlisted, and pay raises for everyone in the force.
He added there will also be improvements to health programs and family-related programs. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
A police officer has been fired in North Carolina and criminally charged over a confrontation with a woman caught on video last Friday.
Officer Carson Hyder of Shelby, North Carolina, is charged with assault. The 22-year-old turned himself in Monday. Doorbell video appears to show Hyder pummeling Cheryl Moore, breaking her nose and busting her lip. He was responding to a report of a break-in at the time of the beating. She was initially charged with breaking and entering, resisting arrest, and assault on a public officer, but the latter 2 charges have since been dropped. Tom Graham, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are mostly lower the day after record highs for the Dow and the NASDAQ. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Have you ever wondered, with all the different religions and interpretations of the Bible, how you can be sure that you're on the right path in your spiritual journey? The powerful new book, You and God by Peter Philippi, helps you answer this question and discover how to establish a truly personal relationship with God through biblical understanding and faith. Get your copy of You and God by Peter Philippi today by visiting pbmusa.org. That's pbmusa.org.
John was an active man. He'd go for runs, walk the golf course, and always take the stairs instead of the elevator. But then bone-on-bone knee pain got in the way and affected his mobility. It became too painful to even go for walks. And when it seemed like John's only option was knee replacement surgery, a friend told him about the Joint Relief Institute and their affordable, non-surgical knee pain relief. John met with the Joint Relief Institute and discovered their lubricating gel treatment could rejuvenate his lost cartilage. Safe, effective, no surgery. Long story short, John is now back to being active without pain or medication.
There is an alternative to knee replacement surgery. Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted. Reclaim your mobility with the Joint Relief Institute.
Ross Shaw talks about building income in retirement.
You know, you can actually structure it in a way that have that $4,000 a month coming in the door every single month. So you don't have to look at the stock ticker and say, oh, the stock market's up today, stock market's down. You still got that $4,000 a month, and having that opportunity to take the vacations and do all the fun things in retirement that you always dreamed to do.
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I went to Staples for a custom printed graduation banner and invites and saw that Party City is now at Staples.
Wait, what?
Party City is now at Staples.
So now Staples has balloons?
Yep.
Decorations?
Yes.
Streamers, cups, table covers?
Yep, Staples has everything for a party. And now buy two, get one free on select foil balloons.
Holy confetti! So the best parties start at Staples.
That was easy.
In 613 select stores, exclusions apply. In-store or buy online. Pick up in-store only.
This Memorial Day, get up to an extra $1,000 off select top brand appliances like LG. Plus, get free delivery at the Home Depot. Whether it's backyard cookouts or watch parties, LG's newest refrigerators keep the drinks ready and guests impressed with mini craft ice, plus both cubed and crushed ice. Celebrate Memorial Day with appliance savings and free delivery on select appliances at the Home Depot. Offer valid May 14th through June 3rd. U.S. only. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $998 or more. See store online for details.
Hey, sorry to hear your mom passed away.
Thanks.
A lot of work to do settling her assets?
Actually, she prepared a living trust. Makes this process simple.
Yeah, I set up a will for my kids. Should make it easy.
Well, unless your assets are small, your kids will have to go to court to settle your will.
So, where do I get a living trust?
Nauman and Associates. They prepare wills and trusts for a flat fee. No surprises.
Nauman and Associates in Elk Grove Village?
That's right. NALawGroup.com. Call 847-593-8777.
Scott Jennings sees vigilante violence coming from the left.
These political vigilantes, these anti-capitalist radicals, these brainless leftists, the violent, and those who cheer on the violent. Instead of resolving our differences at the ballot box, they have decided that we should resolve our differences through violence and rebellion. Spooky times on the American left.
The Scott Jennings Show, weekdays at noon, right before Hugh Hewitt at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's June 2nd, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Rocky Road Day. Go ahead, indulge in 2 scoops of this delicious ice cream treat featuring nuts, mini marshmallows, and chunks of semi-sweet chocolate. Also on this day in 1979, Pope John Paul II becomes the first pontiff to visit a communist country. Millions of people line the streets of Warsaw as the Pope began his 9-day trip to his native Poland. If you've been to a wedding, you've heard this. Felix Mendelssohn's Wedding March is used at a wedding for the first time in 1847. But it was the wedding of Victoria, Princess Royal, and Prince Frederick William of Prussia in 1858 that made the work world famous. American singer-songwriter guitarist Bo Diddley died on this day in 2008 at the age of 79. I'm CJ Papa, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, 1 light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
The Danielle Gill Podcast, now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
Throughout Trump's first administration, the Democrats cried endlessly about foreign collusion and the usurpation of democracy through government abuse and corruption. All the while, they were doing just that. They were colluding with foreign governments to usurp democracy through government abuse, corruption, all of the things.
Subscribe for free today to the Danielle Gill Podcast on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Hey, business owners, is your business and money in good hands? Does your bank invest in your success? Hi, Mike Gallagher here, letting you know that when you need a relationship bank, Signature Bank makes commercial banking personal. I love these guys. Not only do they have expansive industry experience, a strong financial track record, but they're also highly capitalized for strategic growth. That's so important. That's why Signature Bank is my bank. They know what it means to grow a business by designing solutions that are right for you and only you. These are real people. They're ready to help. So reach out to my friends at Signature Bank. Make the call today, 773-467-5630, 773-467-5630, or visit them online at signaturebank.bank. That's signaturebank.bank. Your business could be Signature Bank's next success story. Go online, signaturebank.bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Signature Bank.
When the seasons shift, you need a heating and cooling team you can trust to keep your home just right. That's where Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, the original, comes in. This family-owned gem has been a local favorite for more than 45 years, sending only their own top-notch, highly trained technicians to your door. Whether it's a quick repair, a full installation, or anything in between, their work is unmatched, and their customer service feels like family. Keeping you cozy in the winter and cool in the summer, Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling delivers comfort you can count on. I've known Garrett and his family for years, and they are great friends of AM 560. Dial 847-545-1700 or visit arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.com. Mention AM 560 and enjoy 20% off your first service call. Again, go to arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.com. The original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, not the biggest, but absolutely the best.
You smell that? Spring. Hibernation's over. It's time to run it. Run it until the grass becomes long and the hedges duck and cover. Then, run it again. Stihl, get up to $50 off select AK battery tool sets. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. If you're a business owner with unfiled tax returns, tax season is not your friend. This is when the IRS turns up the heat. They match 1099s. They review payroll filings. They compare bank deposits. And when returns are missing, they don't send you a warning. They take action. Penalties stack up fast. Liens become public. Bank levies can drain your account. I see it every year. Good business owners who waited too long. Not because they're crooks, but because they were overwhelmed. Let me be clear. Hiding makes it worse. Action makes it fixable. I help business owners get compliant, file what's missing, and negotiate from a position of strength, not fear. Don't wait for the next certified letter. Don't wait for a levy. Go to fightbacknow.com and sign up for my daily email. I'll tell you exactly what to do next, step by step. Or call me right now at 312-664-6649. Act now before the IRS acts first.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. California's progressives are eyeing other people's money. Again. The proposed Billionaire Tax Act would amend the state constitution to impose a one-time 5% tax on residents with a net worth above $1 billion. Supporters say it's just a one-time levy for worthy causes, but experience says one time rarely means one time, and the unintended consequences are real. The measure has yet to go before voters, but the threat alone has already pushed almost 40% of California's billionaire wealth out of the state. Gone. Along with it, income taxes, sales taxes, property taxes, and the charitable giving those individuals once supported. Wealth is mobile. It goes where it's treated well, and it's not hard to see why. California should remember that before it drives even more of its tax base away.
Platform safety is critical at your commercial and industrial facility. Keeping people safe and meeting OSHA requirements isn't optional. That's why Vans Industrial offers free platform inspections by professional structural engineers who know exactly what to look for. Problems with platforms, ladders, or stairs can lead to costly fines or worse. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to protect people in your facility.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. With decades of experience, I bring long-standing industry knowledge from inspecting, correcting, and replacing countless platforms to make facilities safer. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor equipped to modify or replace steel catwalks, handrails, stairways, and ladders. Our union building trades professionals fabricate and install high-quality steel systems that create safer work environments.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free platform inspection by professional structural engineers. See what else we can do for you. Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878. Alex Marlow cuts through the political spin on the Alex Marlow podcast.
The lawfare superstructure is the single biggest threat to President Trump. And that's why it's important that we figure out how to run up the score as much as we can while their bench is so lame and while we have the opportunity to add seats via redistricting and make sure that we make this Trump presidency as successful as possible so that we never relinquish power back to these people.
Subscribe for free today on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Picture this. Bottom of the ninth. Bases loaded. 2 outs. And the IRS is on the hill throwing nothing but heat and chin music. Back taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens. You're down in the count. Time to call in a pinch hitter. At PJN Tax Solutions Group, we are your pinch hitter. We deal with the revenue officers so you don't have to. PJN Tax Solutions Group is a local tax resolution firm located right here in St. Charles, Illinois. Don't call some 1-800 firm 10 states away. We're right here. When the IRS tries to steal home with your paycheck, we throw them out.
He's out.
When they load the bases with bank levies and wage garnishments, we strike them out.
Strike 3, you're out.
It's a full count and the game is on the line. Are you stepping up alone or are you bringing in a professional? Call PJN Tax Solutions Group now. 630-415-5296. Again, 630-415-5296. Or just Google, I want the IRS off my ASS.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
Scott Jennings fearlessly fights back against the mainstream media on the Scott Jennings podcast.
The Supreme Court's decision striking down racial gerrymandering. The Supreme Court said enough is enough, and in this ruling, the justices raised the bar. They said if you want to challenge a map as discriminatory, you now have to prove actual intent, not just point to statistical disparities.
Subscribe for free today on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
I'm Ben Barzita.
And I'm Matt Nadeau, founding partners of Barzita and Nadeau Wealth Management. And after more than a decade on the air, we're excited to be back with our brand new show, Money Hour Radio.
Tune in every Saturday at 1 p.m. on AM 560 as we break down retirement planning, market trends, tax reduction strategies, and our Advance and Protect investment approach.
It's sophisticated planning, independent analysis, and trusted guidance backed by over 40 years of combined experience.
Join us for Money Hour Radio, Saturdays at 1 p.m. on AM 560.
Have you ever wondered, with all the different religions and interpretations of the Bible, how you can be sure that you're on the right path in your spiritual journey? The powerful new book, You and God by Peter Philippi, helps you answer this question and discover how to establish a truly personal relationship with God through biblical understanding and faith. Get your copy of You and God by Peter Philippi today by visiting pbmusa.org. That's pbmusa.org.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today, expect abundant sunshine, making it a great day to spend outdoors with a high of 74. Tonight will bring clear skies with a low of 51. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny and warm with a high of 82. By Thursday, anticipate partly sunny skies and very warm conditions with a high of 86. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. Election day in California today, and that includes L.A. Interesting gubernatorial race, which we've talked some about over the last several weeks. And obviously, the most interesting race in the country is the race for mayor of L.A., and we're waiting with bated breath to see how Spencer Pratt fares today. Some closing arguments on behalf of Spencer Pratt come from friends. I mean, somewhat usual suspects on this score, but entertaining nonetheless. You know, Rob Schneider, he's conservative, or at least by Hollywood standards, he's conservative. He was on with Ducey yesterday and had this to say on the Pratt campaign, and having a little fun with the, identitarian zeitgeist that otherwise dominates L.A. that has been disrupted by Spencer Pratt.
The Democrats have their ideological captives, and they're not letting it go. The thing is that they've convinced their people that it's just, no matter how bad things are, it would somehow, these people are so evil, it will be worse. It's like, yes, your entire town burned down, but imagine if it was burned down by someone who was transphobic. Can you imagine? At least the person was burned down. At least had, there were rainbow colors to the flames. So that, yes, there's a lot of human poop, but imagine if that poop was conservative. Imagine the stench of that. So look at the consistency. It's completely non-transphobic human feces. So you really have a group of people that have convinced them there's a bunker mentality happening in Los Angeles, and people they just won't cross over the line. It literally is, the last days of the bunker for Karen Bass, and they just convinced them it would be way worse if they had, conservative. And I think you got to try something. Los Angeles, how could it be worse? Try something different.
Yes, right. Right. What's the worst thing that could happen? How much worse can it get? I mean, all of the usual rhetorical questions that are asked when you're trying to convince people that have been sort of lobotomized by the left to, act to save something approaching a civilized society. And that's the pitch that's being made in L.A. 312-642-5600 is the alphawealthgroup.com call and text line. Kelsey Grammer, media caught up with Kelsey Grammer, too. And, again, he is a Republican, so this isn't a surprise. But entertaining nonetheless. He's got a nickname for Karen Bass, and it's not Karen Basura.
Well, Gavin Newsom, I just hope I hope we've heard the last of him.
I love Gavin. And what about Los Angeles? Kelsey, I love Gavin.
Good girl.
What about Karen?
There you go.
You know me. Kelsey, what about Karen Bass, sir? What do you think about Karen Bass?
I just call her Karen Bass backwards. That's what we've always called
Kelsey,
her in my
do you
house.
think that Spencer Pratt he's gaining traction?
Hey guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. He's the only guy that's a real option. We know what the rest is going to do. Thanks.
Yeah, the only guy with a real option. You know what the rest is going to do. Bass backwards. I like that. That's pretty good. It's just nice to have a choice. It's nice to have a debate in L.A. that is distinguishable, both at the city level as well as at the gubernatorial level, as polling, and this isn't definitive, but it's tracking that it's going to be Becerra versus Steve Hilton, so you'll have a Republican representative. Now Steyer's not far behind, but right now the markets are 1-2 Becerra and Hilton. That's obviously going to be a tougher climb in a general election. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. It seems like it would be a tougher climb in a general election just because of the sheer size of the state. And you don't have momentum behind Steve Hilton the way that you have a break happening in L.A. with Spencer Pratt. It's just a different dynamic. And the issues are so much more varied at the statewide level as compared to the city level. And frankly, as we talked about a bit yesterday, Spencer Pratt has done himself well to stay hyper-focused on those local quality of life issues and not get pulled into national or international geopolitical issues. Specifically, quality of life. What did we talk about yesterday? His pitch over the weekend. My goal, very simple, to make L.A. the safest big city in America, and I'm singularly focused on that task. And, it's appealing beyond the sort of token center-right types in Hollywood. For example, a name you don't normally hear, but you're seeing a lot of stories like this. People, as I said, independently engaging because there is so much buzz around this race that Spencer Pratt has brought. People posting their own stories, their own L.A. stories, if you will, including L.A. stories that have moved them to do something they wouldn't normally do, which is vote for somebody like Spencer Pratt, who maybe they don't agree with across the board, or they haven't voted for somebody who's voted Republican before. But this time it's different. Doug Ellen was the creator of the show Entourage. Here's his L.A. story.
Hey, LA Times gaslighters. It's weird. One of 15 cameras that I now have at this house. 2 German Shepherds, 3 legal guns. 5 years ago, didn't lock a door here, but you know what happened? 2 animals invaded my house. And no, I'm not racist because they were wearing masks. I don't know if they were white. I don't know if they were Jewish. I don't know if they were f***ing rabbis. I know they were animals because they invaded my house. I know I don't care what their excuses are, like a lot of you care. I know invaders of homes should get 20 years, but I'm not paranoid, so I don't believe your about the stats and the crime, because everyone in my neighborhood has got the same problem. They're all putting cameras and hiring security guards because we're all getting broken into. It's not made up. It's not false. And this city has collapsed in the last 5 years. There is no denying it unless you have an agenda, and I don't know what that is. But you say, oh, Spencer Pratt has no experience, so how can we possibly think about this? What experience did Karen Bass have, or Rick Caruso, who we know can build things, who we know can fix problems, when you made sure he couldn't win? So right now, you're putting people in the same position that you did with Trump, who I did not vote for, by the way. You put him in by making sure we had no options, okay? And that's where we are in LA, and we want to fix this place because we don't want to be forced out. I'm one of the people who made this city look great. I did it for years. I glorified it. I meet people all the time that moved here because the show that I created, and they hate it here now. Hate.
How about that? How about that riff? That's really telling. That represents some slice of the electorate that is moving in the direction of Pratt, which is why, again, as according to some of the recent polling, he's eclipsed 30% and has, I'm not saying it's in because the polling has it pretty close between the top 3 candidates and only 2 go on to the runoff. But I think the combination of where he is going in and the momentum and the emphasis on the issues that are center cut for him bode well for his performance tonight. And, look, at the overlaid on this at the statewide level is this massive fraud issue. And you had a very good interview by CBS News of the assistant U.S. attorney, one of the assistant U.S. attorneys in California, Bill Asaley, who's been on the fraud job, if you will, about some guy who, ripped off Medi-Cal to the tune of $170 million.
I wish I could show you what's behind here, but I can describe. I've seen over a dozen Ferraris, Lamborghinis, a Bugatti, Lotus, several G-Wagons. These are just some of the assets the government has seized from fraudsters who have taken your taxpayer dollars and bought some of these ill-gotten gains.
LA's top federal prosecutor, Bill O'Saley, showed us around this U.S. Marshals warehouse.
It should offend every American taxpayer that these people are taking advantage of the system and enriching themselves.
These items had been owned by Paul Randall, who pleaded guilty to wire fraud this year in one of the largest Medi-Cal fraud cases in California history.
He submitted above $270 million worth of claims to the state of California through Medi-Cal. He was paid $170 million.
$170 million of hard-earned tax dollars.
That's correct. And what's most egregious about this is it was basically no questions asked. He basically exploited a loophole in the state's processing system.
That loophole, court records show, meant healthcare providers got reimbursed for prescription drugs that were not medically necessary and often not even given to patients. But where did all the stolen money go? Authorities say it paid for Kobe Bryant game-worn sneakers, baseball cards of Jackie Robinson and Mickey Mantle.
Very expensive taste, very rare, near mint condition, collectible sports cards purchased with taxpayer dollars.
O'Saley also showed us Randall's home, one of 7 properties he owned.
Let me tell you what a piece of work this Randall guy was. He's got 6 prior convictions for fraudulent conduct, and he was out on bond waiting sentencing when he started this new scheme.
He was effectively on bond when he decided to defraud $170 million more.
Yes, it's crazy.
Who's responsible for the breakdown of the system?
Obviously, there's a breakdown in the criminal justice system. If this guy was able to have 6 convictions and never did any real prison time.
There's also a breakdown in the Medi-Cal system, and that's in part the province of the governor and the General Assembly in the state of California, which is why Steve Hilton said this is going to be his first executive order.
I want to show you my first executive order as governor of California. Here it is. This will be enacted on day 1 when I'm governor. This is establishing a California taxpayer fraud strike force. This will make sure that we investigate and prosecute the billions and billions and billions of dollars of fraud, theft of taxpayer money.
It could be a pretty good 1-2 punch, Hilton and Pratt. We'll see what happens tonight. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
51 degrees, 5:33 in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Sunny and pleasant and nice day, 75 this afternoon. Primary day in 6 states, House, Senate, and governor's races in Iowa, Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico, South Dakota, and California. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche will testify before the House later today in front of the House Appropriations Committee. It comes about 24 hours after the Justice Department said it would abide by a court ruling that temporarily paused the Trump administration's so-called anti-weaponization fund. Police in Iowa investigating the fatal shootings of 6. They believe a relative, Ryan Willis McFarland, killed the 6 before taking his own life when confronted by police. Muscatine, Iowa Police Chief Anthony Keys.
The adult male suspect had left the residence prior to law enforcement's arrival, but was quickly identified as Ryan Willis McFarland, 52 years, Muscatine, Iowa. Officers located McFarland on the Riverfront Trail near the pedestrian bridge. While talking to Ryan Willis McFarland, he took his own life.
Authorities have not released victims' names. The family of the Loyola University Chicago student who was murdered in March, expressing outrage that her suspected killer was caught with a makeshift knife in jail. Sheridan Gorman's father says Jose Medina is a danger both in and out of custody.
These policies did not protect Sheridan. They protected him. They gave him access to our streets. They gave him the opportunity to be near our daughter. And Sheridan paid for that failure with her life. We are tired of excuses. We are tired of the labels. We are tired of being told to accept what no family should ever have to accept.
Cook County Sheriff's Office says Medina was found with a 6-inch shank last week at the Cook County Jail. A water park in South Suburban Orland Park was closed earlier this week after possibly being linked to a pair of E. coli cases is set to reopen later today. White Sox had their 5-game win streak snap with a 9-6 loss to the Twins, while the Cubs begin a 6-game homestand against the A's. Bears return to Hallis Hall for their final week of OTAs. The news, a service of Rasmussen University, where passion meets education, offering over 60 career-focused programs ranging from nursing and early childhood education to business and IT. Learn more at rasmussen.edu. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. A check of your AccuWeather forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center in 2 minutes.
It's almost time for AM 560's annual golf outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation as they support America's first responder and military heroes to help America never forget 9/11. It's all happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. Enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dring at leavingil.com.
Hey, this is Sean Thompson. You know, most of us spend our entire lives in the paycheck mode. You work, you get 30% taken from the G, you pay your bills, repeat and rinse. And that's how time goes by. Then all of a sudden you're old. Retirement hits. Suddenly, you're the one who has to figure out your paycheck that isn't there anymore. Markets are bumpy, prices are up, things can get stressful real fast. That's why having a real income plan matters. Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group can help you build a strategy to turn your hard-earned savings into a reliable retirement income. They coordinate with your Social Security and your tax planning so you can stop wondering if you're withdrawing the right amount at the right time. Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group have been doing this for 30 years. They can help you by giving you a complimentary retirement roadmap. And all you have to do is call 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711 or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
It's finally happening. The Fed is making a change in leadership, and that could have a profound impact on the value of your retirement. When interest rates go down, the value of precious metals like gold and silver can surge. Call Advantage Gold right now at 800-900-8000 and get your free Gold and Silver Investor Guide, a $49 value plus a free copy of Ken Rogoff's insightful book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Inside, you'll get honest information about gold, silver, and other precious metals, so you can explore your options with clarity and confidence. Our specialists can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty-free. Markets can turn fast, but gold has maintained its value through every cycle, often holding strong when other assets falter and when the dollar weakens. Are you positioned? Don't miss this opportunity. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
Amazon Business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience paired with delivery options built for business. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today, expect abundant sunshine and pleasant conditions, ideal for outdoor activities with a high of 74. Tonight will bring a clear sky, offering a low of 51. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny and warm, reaching a high of 82. By Thursday, anticipate partly sunny skies and very warm temperatures with a high of 86. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Forever Remodeling, stress-free and high-quality remodeling. View their stunning transformations online at the number 4everremodeling.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. As you heard Mike Scott reporting, status hearing for Sheridan Gorman's alleged killer. So the Gorman family was in town for that. As they said previously in an interview, they're not going away, and clearly they meant it. I'm glad for that. Her alleged killer in custody managed to get pretrial detention for him in the land of the Safety Act. Had a 6-inch shank that was discovered in his possession while in custody, so that's another felony that's being tacked on. His public defender said he needs it because he's a target inside. Yeah, it's a real sad story. Sheridan Gorman's parents, though, after addressing that, also addressed the Illinois political class. Here's what they had to say.
It's obviously very emotional. It's like looking at evil straight on.
I don't know how justice is ever served. There's nothing that can be taken from him that is equal to what was taken from our daughter. I hear our governor speak of these policies and touting them as this great, wonderful thing, and it triggers us. I am deeply disturbed that this is going to happen again.
My daughter made it 40 feet. She feared for her life. 40 feet she ran for her life. Imagine your child 40 feet running for their life and never coming home. And then tell me why you're voting for these policies.
It's a great question that Mom asked. That's a question that should be put to every sanctuary politician in the city, the county, the state. Every single one. Frankly, it should be the question and thus the policy that dominates the election here. It won't be. It won't be, I'm sure, but that's what it should be. 312-642-5600, alphawealthgroup.com. Call and text line. Imagine your child running for her life and making it 40 feet before she was mowed down, and tell me why you're voting for these policies. Great question. They're afraid it's going to happen again, they say. It already did happen again. It happened to Sheridan Gorman. After it happened to Katie Abraham and Chloe Polson and so many others. It's happening again and again and again in every city and state that is unserious about people in this country illegally who pose public safety threats. Now, of course, it's happening in states that are not sanctuary states, cities that are not sanctuary cities, too, because so many people were let in so indiscriminately. But there's a difference between political leaders and in empowering law enforcement to work with federal law enforcement to do the best we can as fast as we can to remove public safety threats from our streets and this country. But that's not happening in Illinois, as you all know. And it's something that, I mean, if you can't take up the cause for Sheridan Gorman's family or Katie Abraham's family, then, then please spare us the performative ego maintenance that you do in public, because we know you're not a person that's interested in helping others. We know you're not a good person. We know you're not your brother's keeper, despite all your protestations to the contrary. Ray in Barrington, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. We really need to get back to calling it the Pritzker Purge Law. It's not the Safety Act. That helps their PR program every time it's called the Safety Act, at least with a certain segment of people.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I suppose. I mean, it's Safety Act is now a punchline, though. I think it's there's a growing recognition. I believe that these Orwellian entitled pieces of legislation deliver exactly the opposite of what they promise. But fair enough. The Pritzker Purge Law, no cash bail, however you want to refer to it, just so we all know what we're talking about and we all know what the consequences of what we're talking about are. That's the important point. And just to the point, too, when we're talking about California happening everywhere. I feel like a broken record on this, but I don't know what to say other than we have to tell the stories. You have to make this real and hope that it gets to some people who haven't been otherwise gotten to, sort of with reason. A illegal immigrant deported from the U.S. 3 times is accused of triple murder of an infant and 2 other women after California's sanctuary law obstructed federal authorities who sought to deport him. Mexican national deported from the U.S. 3 times, arrested for DUI once before. He was arrested again in June for another DUI. On the day of his DUI in June, and I mean, this could just as easily have happened in Chicagoland. On the day of this guy's DUI arrest in June, ICE requested to be notified of his release from jail so they could deport him again. But law enforcement officials, under the thumb of California sanctuary law, couldn't and thus didn't notify the feds when he was set free again. Less than a year after the request from ICE agents was ignored, he is now being held without bail on 3 counts of murder in the grisly knife slaying in Modesto of an infant and 2 women, including one with whom he allegedly had a child. Steve Hilton, not afraid to take up this issue. Gavin Newsom has the blood of these women and this innocent baby on his hands. Javier Becerra is no better, and Tom Steyer is even worse. Dan in Salem, Wisconsin.
Dan, there's no comparison to someone killing somebody. I can't relate this to this. This is horrible. That's the worst. But these illegal aliens are not only killing people, they're taking all the citizens' jobs. They're in roofing, drywall, tree work, landscaping, you name it, bricklayers. They're getting into everything, killing people's homes, their rent. They can't pay it because you got to compete with Juan and Jose and Francisco and even from Poland or whoever. I'm against the illegal aliens, period. Taking people's citizens' jobs. It's not right, Dan.
Thanks for the call, Dan. I'll tell you what's interesting, though, what's happening in Central and South America, and we've got this runoff for the presidency of Colombia between a socialist in the model of the incumbent Petro versus a criminal defense attorney, sort of populist-oriented conservative. So it'll be interesting how that shakes out. But if you start to look at what's happened over the last several years in, as I said, Central and South America, you see a real resurgence of conservative candidates winning the presidential races in places, obviously we know of Milei in Argentina, but in Paraguay, we've seen what, and we talked about at the end of the show yesterday, what Bukele has done in El Salvador with respect to violent crime. Panama, Ecuador, Bolivia, Chile, Honduras, Costa Rica, possibly Colombia, and of course we took the Trump administration took out Maduro in Venezuela, so Delcy Rodriguez is no conservative, but she's sort of under the thumb of the U.S. right now, and as far as we know, certainly behaving better than Maduro did. And I bring that up because remember back in the Biden administration, Kamala Harris was tasked with getting to root causes, and she was traveling to the Northern Triangle countries. And well, one of the things that Bukele and others said is, first of all, we don't want to inflict our predators on anybody. At least the responsible leaders don't. Secondly, we want to make our country great so that our talented people stay. I mean, that's the root cause, and it's not drop shipping aid from the United States. We have to do it ourselves. We have to make our country dynamic and freer, so it is more dynamic where people can ply their trades and succeed. And you see a move in that direction. And frankly, if you start looking at net migration numbers in the West, they have been dramatically reduced. Even, obviously, in the United States, they've been dramatically reduced in part because of the border security measures the Trump administration has taken. But even in Western Europe, where they have not been nearly as aggressive in most of Western Europe as Trump, their numbers are way down. Partly it's because those countries are flailing, and so they're a lot less attractive. Going from North Africa to the UK, am I really improving my lot that much? It's really interesting. But The flip side of it, the better story is what's happening in places like Argentina, particularly, but in some of these other Central and South American countries. You make your country stable, independent, prosperous, then your countrymen won't leave. The countrymen that, you rely on to make it stable and prosperous and safe, they won't leave. And so there is a move in that direction, which should be encouraging for us to take notice of. Joe in Naperville.
Hey, I don't understand this. Maybe you could explain it to me, Dan. But if that guy in California that committed the DUIs and the triple murders, if the federal government knows he's in custody in California, why not just have federal law trump state law and go in and just grab the guy from jail? And if the county or whatever won't release him, then prosecute every single person who's holding him there for obstruction of justice. I think that would send a chilling effect to all these blue states.
Yeah, but it's not obstruction of justice. Thanks for the call, Joe. It's not obstruction. You're not going to make out an obstruction charge unless you facilitate his escape out the back door like that Milwaukee judge did. Okay, then that's obstruction. The other point, though, too, is, he got picked up for a DUI. ICE, federal law enforcement, does not have the resources to have people hanging out in jails for 8 hours a day waiting for illegals to be picked up for an unrelated, for a charge like DUI, and so they can then be ready when his case is adjudicated and nab him if and when he's released. It just there's a sort of a reality-based resource limitation, which is why we want, for efficiency's purposes and of course public safety, ultimately you want federal and state and local to work together. Neil in LaGrange.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Thanks for taking my call. There were a lot of these state's attorneys that were against the Safety Act, okay? And this is really a question to you. All right. So then you've got these studies, and they were saying that some of the things with the Safety Act was working. But what were those just a bunch of propaganda studies, or they've talked about it over and over and over again. And look, we got to keep these people off the street. We got to get cash bail back, but you're pretty much in the know, and I didn't understand how they could have those studies that say it's actually working unless it's just a bunch of left-wingers kind of just with a bunch of spin doctors.
Yeah, there's no study there's no study that substantiates that this is.
There's not.
There's not. Okay. No. In fact, there's quite the opposite. Thanks for the call, Neil. The former clerk of the circuit court in Cook County did her own study internally. Remember, this is a couple years ago, Iris Martinez. And remember, she found, I'm going from memory here, but about 2/3 to 3/4 of those who were not detained pre-trial did not show up for their day in court. And so this becomes now another law enforcement problem of having to issue bench warrants to go get them and bring them to court at their appointed time. And again, talk about resources. So, no. And concurrent with that, CWB Chicago has been doing this series for the last 6 years, just in Cook County, of all the people who have been victimized by somebody who is awaiting trial on some felony, and then commits another felony while on pretrial release for a different unrelated felony. It's just obvious. The electronic monitoring program is a joke. They celebrate that only 8% of those on electronic monitoring have been lost by the chief judge's office. We don't know where they're at. 8% of 3,000 people, which is about 245 people. Where are they at? I don't know. That's not good. That's not good. It's something to celebrate. No, but they're working on it. It's not as bad as you think, and there's a lot of blame to go around. I know. So there's no possibility of producing a study that says this is making the streets safer, because it was never about making the streets safer. It's about advancing the flag of identity politics, striking a blow against systemic racism in the justice system, because the single mom who stole a bag of diapers for her infant was being detained pre-trial. Never happened. But that was the demagoguery that was used by people like Jelly Belly and Kim Foxx and Al Reinhart, the only other state's attorney up in Lake County, to support the Pritzker Purge Law. 2 out of 102 state's attorneys, county state's attorneys in Illinois. It was a bill of goods. So they'll just continue selling more bills of goods until there's a political consequence to it. Where's the political consequence? Well, I don't know. All the people who authored it are still in office. The people who signed it into law, that person's still in office. The person who demagogued anybody opposing it as racist. All those county state's attorneys and all those county sheriffs who opposed it. Racist. Okay. But what's the consequence again? Roger, Southside.
Dan, didn't we just pass in the House in the last 3 days where there was funding actually in for illegal aliens in the budget, in the $55 billion budget? So, the complete trickle down effect to
Yeah, $400 million, and that's probably an undershooting of the actual number that will pay out just on Medicaid coverage alone. Of course.
I can't believe that. They're owed way more than that, and you know what I mean? Why don't we just make it, a quarter of the budget? That's not the biggest trickle down effect. Also tie it into what you just covered 10 seconds ago. Well, unfortunately, the biggest counties we have here in Illinois, you know what? The identity politics and the people who are the elected officials of it, they're quietly working against, like I said, what they consider racist. I don't know what their version of racism is.
Thanks for the call, Roger. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, ask your neighbor the question that Sheridan Gorman's mom.
You push that fence into my face, I will throw you on the ground and rush you. You understand me?
Ask your neighbors, just like the politicians, the question that Sheridan Gorman put to the politicians. How, if your child was running for her life and was gunned down 40 feet, after 40 feet of fleeing for her life, how can you support policies that allow for people like that to be on the street? What would you say about somebody who shouldn't have been in this country, who shouldn't have been on the streets of Chicago, who shouldn't have been on the beach in Rogers Park where Sheridan Gorman and her friends were? What would you say? By the way, this is another one, too. I mean, this bus driver that that got his CDL in New York, naturalized citizen from China, 5 people killed, didn't speak English. Not only how did he get a CDL, how did he become a naturalized citizen without speaking English? Going back again to the fundamentals here. Assimilation assessment, independence assessment. That's the only way you should be able to qualify for citizenship here. All right, we'll pick this up on the other side. It's now 6 o'clock on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
There could be a deal with Iran this week.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump is saying as Iran keeps demanding an agreement has to include Israel's prime minister stopping the attacks on Hezbollah in Lebanon.
The president said on Truth Social, I had a conversation with Bibi Netanyahu today asking him not to go into a major raid of Beirut, Lebanon. He turned his troops around. Thank you, Bibi. I also had a conversation with representatives of the leaders of Hezbollah, and they agreed to stop shooting at Israel and its soldiers. Likewise, Israel agreed to stop shooting at them. Axios reports the call between Trump and Netanyahu was tense, saying in a piece posted yesterday, quote, summarizing Trump's remarks to Netanyahu, the U.S. official said, you're effing crazy. You'd be in prison if it weren't for me. I'm saving your A.
Fox's Trey Yingst also reports from Tel Aviv, Hezbollah did fire rockets into Israel overnight, and some Israeli strikes still in southern Lebanon. Russia bombarded Ukraine again overnight. Hundreds of drones and missiles. At least 16 civilians have been killed, including children, more than 100 others injured.
The main targets included Ukraine's capital Kyiv and cities including Dnipro, Kharkiv and Zaporizhia. 140,000 people left without power. Ukraine expected this. President Volodymyr Zelensky had warned of a renewed Russian assault and urged people to be cautious during air raid alerts.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. It is primary day in 6 states, with contests in California getting the most attention for governor and Los Angeles mayor. Former reality TV star Spencer Pratt is among those trying to oust incumbent Mayor Karen Bass.
A reality TV villain? Really? How did that work for us on a national level?
But Pratt says,
I just want people to feel safe. I want families to be able to thrive in the city.
The top 2 in the contest advanced to a runoff. There are also primaries in New Jersey, New Mexico, Montana, South Dakota, and Iowa, where there was a murder-suicide. 6 people from the same family shot dead in Muscatine by a relative who killed himself as police closed in. America's listening to Fox.
53 degrees, 6:02 is our time. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. One man is dead after an officer-involved shooting in Oak Park. Police say an officer pulled over an SUV being driven by Christian Wallace near Harrison and Austin Boulevards Sunday night. The officer discovered a concealed weapon on Wallace. A struggle ensued. Wallace gained control of that gun. The officer only then discharged his service weapon, hitting Wallace, who later died at a nearby hospital. The incident remains under investigation. Governor J.B. Pritzker is now accepting the fact that the Bears could leave the state of Illinois after the state legislature failed to approve a bill designed to help the team build a stadium in Arlington Heights.
The reality is I wasn't willing to give up billions of dollars of taxpayer money in order to give it to a billionaire-owned family or team.
Last night at the opening of the village board meeting in Arlington Heights, Mayor Jim Tenaglia.
It's a disappointment that a legislative session can go for weeks and weeks and weeks, and nothing happens until almost midnight of the last day.
Hammond, Indiana maintains they are the only viable option left on the table for a nearby Bears stadium. A water park in Orland Park that was closed after possibly being linked to a pair of E. coli cases is set to reopen later today. Officials say Centennial Park Aquatic Center will reopen following a review of that facility. White Sox had their 5-game win streak snapped by a 9-6 loss to the Twins at Target Field, while the Cubs begin a 6-game homestand against the Athletics at Wrigley Field tonight. The news, a service of Steiner Homes. Building homes is more than a business, it's a calling. Family-owned and dedicated to building custom homes with care, integrity, and craftsmanship you can trust. SteinerHomesLTD.com, Northwest Indiana's leading home builder. A check of the roads in 2 minutes on AM 560.
Hugh Hewitt believes the president is thinking about Cuba.
He doesn't want to say that he's going to take Castro like Maduro, but I think he's going to take Castro like Maduro.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Alex Marlowe at 3 on AM 560. The Answer. Sign up for the AM 560 Answer Advantage to get early alerts on event ticket sales, special discounts, and contest opportunities. Sign up today at 560theanswer.com/advantage.
Each morning, the newsmakers and the newsbreakers shaping today's conversation are heard on the AlphaWealthGroup.com answer line on Chicago's Morning Answer. When you need answers about what's happening in your world, you turn to AM 560 The Answer. And when you need answers about how to prepare for and protect your retirement, you turn to the Alpha Wealth Group, now the proud sponsor of the AM 560 Answer line, right here on Chicago's source for news, opinion, and insight. AM 560 The Answer.
President Trump has triggered a $200 billion tech disruption, and Wall Street is asleep at the switch. This $200 billion investment in chip technology could make today's artificial intelligence chips obsolete. Technology that will make today's AI data centers a thing of the past, like IBM's old mainframes. While most investors are focused on old-fashioned AI, there are three companies quietly building a $1 trillion triangle that could transform every tech sector on Earth. These three companies are gearing up to develop and manufacture supercomputers the size of a dinner plate. Institutions like Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street are pouring more than $200 billion into this AI revolution. Investment guru George Gilder has been predicting tech revolutions for more than 40 years, including the iPhone, Netflix, and Amazon. Now he's got his finger on three companies whose technology will change tech forever. Log on to TrillionDollarTriangle.com to find out which three companies are working on what could be the biggest tech disruption since the internet. TrillionDollarTriangle.com. That's TrillionDollarTriangle.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Now, this 25th anniversary of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation remains committed to honoring the heroes shaped by that day. Heroes like NYPD Detective Victor Vargas, a U.S. Air Force veteran who died from pancreatic cancer after serving in the World Trade Center recovery efforts. Tunnel to Towers honored Detective Vargas by paying off the family's mortgage. You can donate $11 a month, and you can amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds, and you're overweight. Winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-555-2085, 800-555-2085, or biglou.com.
Gain insight into building strong marriages and raising godly children with Focus on the Family with Jim Daly each weekday at 11:30 a.m. on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life.
6:08 Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. I-57 report of an accident inbound at 111th. Tri-State. As you travel northbound between I-80-94 and the Thornton Quarry, there's an accident with a left lane blocked. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now a check of your forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Today, expect abundant sunshine, making it a great day to spend outdoors with a high of 74. Tonight will bring clear skies with a low of 51. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny and warm with a high of 82. By Thursday, anticipate partly sunny skies and very warm conditions with a high of 86. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. It's interesting how different cases with a lot of similarities get treated so differently by the D.C. press corps and their Western counterparts in places like the UK. I can't breathe. That phrase immediately calls to mind George Floyd, right? And they want to make sure it stays that way. The D.C. press corps, which has not covered the story of Henry Nowak at all. UK is a press corps is dutifully trying to bury it as best they can as well. Even the opposition leader, conservative leader Badenoch, is saying, making people angry about this is the wrong response to Henry Nowak's murder. The story, if you don't know it, is Henry Nowak was attacked by a Sikh Indian gentleman, well, not gentleman, Sikh Indian man, with a sword or a long knife of some sort, stabbed several times. And when somebody called 999 because they saw the altercation, UK's version 911, police show up, and the Sikh dude, and I think it was his brother or a friend, either way, said, "Oh, no, Henry Nowak attacked them, or him, knocked his turban off his head and, bruised his eye, and uttered a racial epithet. It was a racist attack. It was a hate crime that Henry Nowak committed." Except that's not what happened. But when police showed up, they took the Sikh guy's word for what went down, and they arrested Henry Nowak while he was bleeding out. I can't breathe. We have the police body cam video now.
What's your name, mate? Huh? Has anyone been hurt other than him?
Yeah, me. He's grabbed my brother, he's took my turban off, started grabbing my head.
Are you injured?
That. Yeah, I've got swollen eye, a little bruise.
Alright, just step back a little bit for me. Someone flag these down.
Yeah, got this stud.
Right, let's get you out of there, shall we?
Oh. I was in bed asleep. Whenever just find me up there, look, someone's attacked me. I can't breathe.
Grab his other arm.
What's
happened to you, alright?
Been stabbed.
You've been stabbed? Whereabouts? Don't think you have, mate.
Don't think you've been stabbed. You're stabbed multiple times.
Hand?
I can't breathe.
Put the hand in the cuff, mate.
Yeah. This is like numerous times this has happened to us. We've been walking, we can't literally multiple times we've had people racist
90 foot.
Nothing happens.
He's saying he's been stabbed, so
Where
let's
is it
just
you
check
think
him.
you've been stabbed? In the face? Oh no, but we have to check, don't we?
Right.
In the face?
Just get these back off, get their details and that, and I'll keep hold of him.
Should we...
Right, keep you on your side, mate. You better retrieve then. Saying to him, keeping him on his side. We were set up when we had him here, but he didn't like it. What's your name, mate? At the moment, you are under arrest. That's for assault, so you do not have to say anything. May harm in defence if you do not mention one question. Someone to which you later rely in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence, alright? He's going to be sick, I think.
No, he's gone, I think.
his name?
I just want you to call it.
Yeah, we've got this male. He's just been beat up. Are we able to get an ambulance, please?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the Sikh dude was arrested ultimately when the case was actually put together, what the facts were. The initial instinct, though, is what's the problem here. As it speaks to a cultural issue, an identitarian cultural issue. So he was prosecuted. He was convicted of Henry Nowak's murder, the Sikh guy who pretended that he was the victim and that he was the subject of a racial epithet of some sort. This is Henry Nowak's father outside the courthouse after his son's killer was convicted.
On the 3rd of December last year, Henry was walking home from a night out with his university football teammates when he encountered Vikram Digwa, a man openly carrying a large knife on the streets of Britain. That knife was used to take Henry's life. He should have been safe walking home. Instead, he became another young life lost to the brutal reality of knife crime in this country. Henry had been stabbed multiple times, and as his chest filled with blood, he tried to escape. He was chased, abused, and filmed by Vikram Digwa and others. When police arrived, Henry was lying on the floor, barely able to sit up and plainly in severe medical distress. With his final words, he told officers that he could not breathe. He told them he had been stabbed. In fact, Henry told officers that he could not breathe 9 times. He told them he had been stabbed 4 times. The response from one officer was, "I don't think you have, mate." The police have said they were misled by the murderer and that the scene when they arrived was complex. Unfortunately, it seems to us the truth is much simpler. The police were told by our son himself and by a member of the public who called 999 that they heard someone shout that they had been stabbed. But the police did not believe them. Henry was pulled across the gravel, his hands forced behind his back, and he was placed in handcuffs. Instead of being treated as a dying victim, police formally arrested Henry for assault and read him his rights. That was the last thing he heard. Henry did not die with dignity. He did not die with the care he deserved. He lost consciousness before anyone believed him. Let me be absolutely clear. We hold Vikram Digwa solely and 100% responsible for the brutal murder of our son. But Henry should not have died on the streets of Southampton in police custody. The way he was treated was inhumane and degrading. His murder, however, was afforded decency. He was believed. He was not handcuffed when arrested. He was not handcuffed when transported to the police station. As far as we understand, he was never handcuffed at all. And, as Vikram Digwa himself told the court, whilst under arrest for Henry's murder, police even took him to the kitchen so he could choose his food. The contrast is unbearable.
Two-tier Keir Starmer, and this is why they call him two-tier Keir, and he's not the only one. Two-tier Keir, 2 systems of justice. One for the politically useful, the fellow traveler, and the other for everybody else, the enemy. And how do you discern who is on your side and who isn't? Skin color, political philosophy. I'll cede my time in terms of what this says about the political culture in the UK to Patrick Christie's GB News. You've heard him on the show before. This was his commentary on Henry Nowak's murder.
I think we've just had Britain's George Floyd moment, except the victim in question was an innocent British young lad and not an American serial criminal and heavy drug user. Henry Novak was stabbed in the heart, his legs, his face and his jaw. He was attacked by this man, Vikram Digwa, who was yesterday found guilty of murder. What happened was that Digwa's brother, Gurpreet, called police after the attack and falsely claimed that Henry Novak had been racist towards his brother. They did not call an ambulance, even though they must have known that Novak had been stabbed. Then Digwa's mother arrived at the scene. She just turned up, and she took and then hid the ceremonial knife that was used to stab Henry Novak to death. She was then found guilty of assisting an offender. So then what happened next? Well, it appears that 3 female police officers turned up. Henry Novak told them that he'd been stabbed. They said, "No, you haven't." They then handcuffed him, and they didn't check him for stab wounds. He then told them that he couldn't breathe, and he sadly died, handcuffed, accused of being a racist, and what actually happened was that he drowned in his own blood. The claims that Henry Novak had said something racist or knocked Digwa's turban off his head were completely blown apart during the trial. Because what actually happened again was that Digwa had stolen Henry Novak's phone, which contained footage of the build-up to the stabbing. And it revealed that Novak had not been racist. He'd asked why Digwa was walking around carrying a sword, which I think is fair enough when you think about it, really. And Digwa had responded by saying, "I'm a bad man," and then stabbed him multiple times. Now, I just want to reiterate that Henry's last words here were, "I can't breathe." And that's important, because I'm sure that many people will remember this, what happened to George Floyd, where, of course, he was dying in the street. He died in the street as a police officer had his knee on his neck, and he was saying, wasn't he, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe." Now, I'm not saying that George Floyd deserved to die. Obviously not, he didn't. But what I am saying is that George Floyd had multiple previous criminal convictions, including a 2007 aggravated robbery where he held a gun to a woman's stomach, and he did have multiple different drugs in his system at the time. People tried to burn cities to the ground in the wake of George Floyd's death. It prompted the whole Black Lives Matter movement. His death sparked protests right here in Britain.
All Black Lives Matter! Take a new one. Come on! Yes, my man!
Cop genuflecting before
Police
the mob.
officers literally taking the knee outside Downing Street to the Black Lives Matter crowd. Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner took the knee in solidarity because of George Floyd. So far, we have had absolutely no remarks from Keir Starmer about Henry Novak, a young boy who drowned in his own blood as British police officers handcuffed him because they thought that the big crime that had been committed that day was that he'd been racist, which was a lie. Silence from the Prime Minister. Silence from pretty much all the politicians who stood up for BLM. The PM tweeted about a mosque attack in San Diego, California. Nothing about a white British lad left to bleed to death as police watched on. Black lives do matter, absolutely, obviously, 100% that is true. But I think in Britain, the message is that white lives don't matter. We saw it with the Pakistani rape gang victims, and we're seeing it again now with Henry Novak.
That's uncut identitarianism.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicagoland certified financial planning professional Tim Stearns discusses taxes in retirement.
Most people are paying more in taxes and keeping less of their money to live and do what they enjoy. That's why we've put out the retirement tax bill calculator online. You can see with your own eyes just how much you might be overpaying. It's a valuable tool, $500 value, but we made it free for you to view and run your own numbers at MVPCFP.com. That's MVPCFP.com.
To run your retirement tax bill calculator, go to MVPCFP.com. Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC.
Welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tim. My friend Tim Stearns, a certified financial planner with TJ Stearns Financial Planning in Arlington Heights. Tim, how are you? Welcome back.
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Tim, for more than 25 years, you've been helping clients achieve financial security and peace of mind. Can you give our listeners some examples of how you've helped clients over the years?
A couple of your listeners called in. They're a married couple. They're in their 60s. They were really concerned and tired of trying to manage their own investments. So their accounts were quite big, but they felt like they needed a little help with it so they didn't screw up at this stage of the game. So they couldn't afford to lose any money in the market moving forward, and trying to manage retirement on a fixed income was kind of a daunting task for them. So with about $1.5 million in 401k savings and other stocks and bonds, we rearranged their portfolio so that they had guaranteed future income, less volatility in the market, and of course tax savings. So now they have this peace of mind because they know that they have a protect and grow blueprint.
Thank you, Tim. If you're in your 50s or 60s, I want you to speak with my friend Tim Stearns, TJ Stearns Financial Planning. Tim will help you structure and optimize your savings to prepare for 20 to 30 years of enjoyable retirement. Call Tim today to schedule your free consultation and get your free Protect and Grow blueprint. Call 1-800-640-2256. Again, that number, 800-640-2256. Tell him I sent you when you call Tim at 800-640-2256. Hey, if you're living with joint pain, listen up. Is your life filled with I can't raise my arms, I can't climb stairs, I can't kneel down, I can't take a long walk or golf with the guys? Well, today's a new day. Take action, a day to celebrate what you can do. And that's exactly what QC Kinetics patients are doing. Back to enjoying their lives again thanks to the innovative treatments offered at QC Kinetics. I've seen the results and personally recommend Dr. Caravelli and her team. So many of you have been through their life-changing regenerative treatments done right in the office. No missing work, no surgery, no long recovery. The inflammation calms down. I want you to schedule a free consultation. You don't have to live a life of I can't. Have a conversation with my friends at QC Kinetics and tell them I sent you when you do. Their treatments are natural, so don't watch summer pass you by again. Take action today. Schedule an appointment right now. Consultations are free. Call 312-827-6261. Again, that number, 312-827-6261. Call QC Kinetics to be pain-free this summer at 312-827-6261.
It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responder and military heroes, to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing campaign, which includes 25 one-minute commercials to air on AM 560 Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dring at leavingil.com. AM 560, The Answer.
Just a postscript on the UK and what's going on there. Not unlike big city America. A story about Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is leaving his $1,000,000,000 apartment in Knightsbridge. One Hyde Park is the UK's most expensive apartment complex. And he and others, reportedly, in that stratosphere of wealth, are leaving London with safety concerns cited as a factor. Yeah. People won't stay where it's unsafe. And part of the reason it's unsafe is because of the open borders policy combined with the identitarian philosophy. And that's what gets an 18-year-old kid killed, murdered. And police facilitating his murder, accomplice after the fact, frankly. What the hell's wrong with them? Well, identitarianism, that's what's wrong with them. Here's another fun story back in the homeland. Salah Habib is an Arab man from Mauritania. He claimed asylum at the Arizona border in 2023, claiming to be gay. So he was potentially subject to persecution in his home country. He was granted asylum because Joe Biden was president. He got sent to Indiana. Less than a year later, he got a job at the county jail in Portland, Indiana, because, as the Babylon Bee writers put it, because of course he did. He quickly became friends with Jay County Sheriff Larry Ray Newton Jr., who hired him, and he wooed Larry Ray Newton Jr.'s stepdaughter, Chelsea, who he married. Larry Ray Newton Jr. claimed local officials were unaware of Habib's immigration status, adding that his driver's license and Social Security card had cleared their recruitment process. Of course it did. Just like the cop in Hanover Park from Montenegro. Not our problem. It cleared our vetting process. Who vets the vetters? I love this comment. By the way, now that this is known, he is in jail in Indiana where he is fighting a deportation order. Why? You say, well, he's married to an American citizen. Yeah, but he frauded his way into the country. Oops, that's a crime. But one comment on this, our system is so broken that Americans get sent to jail for blocking abortion clinics, and the jailers are Arab Muslims who just arrived in America based on a lie. Yeah, that's about it. That's about the sum of it. Coming up at 6:36, we'll switch gears and talk about the state of play in the Middle East, particularly given some apparently tense words between Trump and Bibi. We'll do that at 6:36. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Mostly clear, 54 degrees in our QC Kinetics newsroom. President Trump says talks with Iran are continuing at a rapid pace. Made those comments online Monday following reports Iran was stepping away from talks. 7, including the gunman, are dead after a string of shootings in Muscatine, Iowa. Police say they responded to a home Monday afternoon after reports of shots fired. Muscatine Police Chief Anthony Keys.
The preliminary investigation indicates the shooting stemmed from a domestic dispute. At this time, all victims are believed to be family members of the deceased.
4 victims were found dead inside one home. Investigators learned there could be additional victims. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani is repealing bedtime for public school students during the next playoff run. What could be an unprecedented move, the New York City mayor telling parents it's okay to let their kids stay up late. University of Notre Dame this morning says an investigation into a former leader of a residence hall found multiple occurrences of sexual abuse. According to a new 25-page report released this week, the Reverend Thomas King sexually touched or assaulted students at Notre Dame and after he left the university. The investigation continues. The family of a Loyola University Chicago student murdered in March is expressing outrage that her suspected killer was caught with a makeshift knife in jail. Sheridan Gordon's mother says Jose Medina is a danger in and out of custody.
40 feet between the life Sheridan should have had and the criminal illegal immigrant demon who stole it.
The suspect faces first-degree murder and weapons charges. Governor Pritzker is now accepting the fact the Bears may leave Illinois after all, after the state legislature failed to approve a bill designed to help the team build a stadium in Arlington Heights. House Democrat and Majority Leader Chris Welch.
To pass a bill for the Bears, with just being about the Bears, the votes weren't there.
Last night at the opening of a village board meeting in Arlington Heights, Mayor Jim Tenaglia.
It's a disappointment that a legislative session can go for weeks and weeks and weeks, and nothing happens until almost midnight of the last day.
Hammond, Indiana maintains they are the only viable option left on the table for a Bears stadium. Bears return to Hallis Hall for their final week of OTAs. Cubs and A's at Wrigley tonight. Last night, the White Sox lost to the Twins 9-6. The news, a service of Steiner Homes. Building homes is more than a business, it's a calling. Family-owned, dedicated to building custom homes with care, integrity, and craftsmanship you can trust. Visit SteinerHomesLTD.com. Steiner Homes, love where you live. A check of the roads in 2 minutes on AM 560.
It's almost time for AM 560's annual golf outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation as they support America's first responder and military heroes to help America never forget 9/11. It's all happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. Enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dring at leavingil.com.
If stairs in your home are becoming difficult, there's a practical solution, and it doesn't have to come with pushy salespeople. Access provides dependable stair lifts designed to help you stay safely in the home you love. No gimmicks, no overselling, just honest guidance, quality equipment, and professional local installation. We'll explain your options, work within your budget, and let you decide what's right at your pace. For a straightforward, no-pressure, free in-home consultation, call 630-616-6249 or visit allaboutaccess.com.
If you're over 65 and struggling with knee pain, Joint Relief Institute offers a guaranteed way to treat it. It's non-surgical and often covered by Medicare and private insurance. It's JRI's Joint Arthritis Treatment, knee lubrication placement that's so accurate it's 100% guaranteed and can relieve your knee and shoulder pain in 10 minutes or less. Book your risk-free consultation today and get back to walking, golfing, pickleball to cycling without pain or medication. Call 708-315-6800. Meet the provider, get an x-ray and joint consultation. Why wait? JRI has treated over 30,000 Chicagoans and performed over 400,000 procedures. You could be next. Over 5,000 five-star Google reviews can't be wrong.
Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800 for the Joint Relief Institute. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted.
Concordia University Chicago is hosting a conference for Christian laity featuring Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, Molly Hemingway of Fox News, Megan Basham of the Daily Wire, and Aaron Hawley of Alliance Defending Freedom. The 2026 Issues Etc. Making the Case Conference, Friday, June 12th and Saturday, June 13th at Concordia University Chicago. Learn more at issuesetc.org. issuesetc.org.
Amazon Business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience paired with delivery options built for business. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
6:37, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Outbound Stevenson, you've got a disabled vehicle on the right-hand shoulder right at Pulaski, causing some minor delays this morning. Major delays outbound 57. A right lane blocked with an accident. Your stop and go from I-80 all the way down to the accident site near US 30. Stop and go on the Reagan I-88. You'll hit the brakes at Route 83 this morning. And an accident northwest Indiana with a right lane closed westbound right on 94 at the Porter-LaPorte County line. Traffic, a service of Summit Racing Equipment. Rev up Father's Day gift giving at summitracing.com. You'll find unique gifts, parts, tools, and accessories. Shop summitracing.com. Plus, enroll in the rewards program to get more power in every purchase. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Now a check of your forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center. Sunny and pleasant day ahead, a high of 75.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan here. And some developments yesterday with respect to Iran. First and foremost, New U.S. strikes. The United States saying Monday strikes that bombed radar and drone sites in Iran after the Iranians shot down an American drone over the weekend that we mentioned and targeted American soldiers at a base in Kuwait. 5 injured. Then the Iranians reportedly announced they had ceased settlement negotiations because of Israeli strikes on Hezbollah in Lebanon, which apparently upset President Trump, throwing a wrench in these negotiations he is so optimistic about. He posted on Truth Social, of course, I had a conversation with Bibi today asking him not to go into a major raid of Beirut. He turned his troops around. Thank you, Bibi. I also had a conversation with the representative of the leaders of Hezbollah, and they agreed to stop shooting at Israel and its soldiers. Likewise, Israel agreed to stop shooting at them. Let's see how long that lasts. Hopefully it will be for eternity. Yeah, right. As the Wall Street Journal opined, Hezbollah began the war with Israel on March 2nd, firing on soldiers and civilian targets on the orders of its Iranian patrons. The first Lebanon ceasefire was announced April 17th after Iran's regime had said Israeli retaliation against Hezbollah was preventing the reopening of the strait. Mr. Trump pressured Israel and delivered the ceasefire, but Iran reneged on Hormuz and its Hezbollah proxy kept firing. Of course it did. Of course they do. Nonetheless, it was reported that there was a bit of a profanity-laced screed offered by President Trump in the direction of Bibi on this phone call. CNN reporting this and seeking comments from Red Diaper Baby David Axelrod.
But the strait is closed, okay? And the economic pain is still coming.
Yes.
But now we've got a reporting coming tonight. This is from Barak Ravid and Mark Caputo. Trump said to Netanyahu apparently on a call today or over the weekend about what was going on to Netanyahu. He says, "What the F are you doing? You're effing crazy. You'd be in prison if it weren't for me. I'm saving your ass. Everybody hates you now. Everybody hates Israel because of this." Wow. Do you think, what do you read into that? If that's in quotes.
It doesn't sound like a very friendly call. Look, I think that the president, his analysis is not wrong. I think, Bibi Netanyahu has done tremendous damage, in my view, to Israel and to Israel's standing in the world. And this war, I think what Trump's really mad about, if you believe the reporting in the New York Times on this, and I do, Maggie Haberman's reporting, Jonathan Swan, Bibi had a lot to do with talking the president into thinking this was a good idea. And that's what he's really mad about. Right. What he's mad about is Bibi has created a huge political problem for him because the economy is the thing that is on the minds of Americans, and he has made it worse, and he promised to make it better, and that was his calling card.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. For more on let's include in this discussion, Menahem Merhavi, Senior Fellow at the Harry Truman Institute at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Menahem Merhavi, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Good morning, there.
Good morning. So what's your characterization of the alleged call and tough words from the president to Bibi, including the sum and substance of what Trump said, as well as the sum and substance of what he demanded?
So again, I don't know more than what's been published about what was said in this phone call, but I definitely understand this situation where President Trump is under pressure because of prices of gas, etc., because of the war, and there's a certain frustration, which again I could also very much relate to, regarding the war with Iran. I think one of the problems with this war, and I totally justify the attack of both Israel and the U.S. against Iran, but I'm saying maybe there was some kind of elevated expectations from the outcome of aerial attack. I mean, there was talk about regime change. There was talk about Iran, bending down quite quickly, and I think one could expect this not to have happened. And that's, the frustration comes from there, that Iran did not back down. And to a degree, I think it all boils down to the question whether the U.S. was or is willing to take the extra effort of opening the strait by force. As long as it doesn't, this frustration will grow because Iran has this card of the Strait.
Well, right, and so the other thing here too is, look, Bibi is pursuing Israel's national security interests, and that may come in a different form than Trump is pursuing America's national security interests. But I mean, the bottom line is, it starts to look rather Pollyannish, to me at least, to believe that people you call lunatics are good faith actors, even as they prove in real time repeatedly, particularly through their proxies like Hezbollah, but not limited to their proxies, as we saw with the strikes over the weekend during this quote unquote ceasefire, that you're going to get a deal that is worth the paper it's written on. And even if you got a deal or a framework of a deal that required specific performance, how do you get the specific performance? And then what do you do if you don't get it? This is a hamster wheel you're on.
That's true. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, there's a problem here of what mechanisms can you create to make Iran abide by its, whatever deal it signs. And there's even a more minimal level where we have a problem. Iran is not even willing to downscale or cripple Hezbollah in the north. So it uses it as a card against Israel to deter Israel from further attacks. So you have sort of a vicious circle here where Iran, wants to hold these cars, the Straits, Hezbollah, its ballistic missiles to try to prevent future attack. When for Israel, and this is, again, there's a certain divide here because it's much more for Israel than for the U.S. or anybody else in the world, Hezbollah is an imminent threat on Israeli territory and Israeli citizens.
So you wrote a piece for the Jerusalem Post that I wanted you to explain to our audience why Iran's regime did not collapse. And you make sort of an important point I wanted you to develop for our understanding, that Iran was in a condition of decay, but it wasn't necessarily in a position of sort of imminent revolutionary or counter-revolutionary overthrow. And there's an important distinction to be made there.
Right. Think of it like the Soviet Union in the 70s, right? You could think in 1975, the Soviet Union was over by then, right? Khrushchev already said, that we're not keeping up with the U.S., etc. And lo and behold, it took them another almost 15 years to actually bog down. So Iran is in a somewhat similar position. I would make the comparison. I would take the risk and make a comparison to the Soviet Union of the late 60s or into the 1970s, where the system is pretty broken, but, between broken and out, there's quite a gap, and it could last for who knows how long. I do not see a great future for the Islamic Republic of Iran, on the one hand. On the other hand, this expectation that some develop, maybe even some leaders, that it's going to be on our clock, this was unrealistic. I mean, after all, the regime has a long experience of clamping down on protesters. He does have money. I mean, at least for the people who really count for them, the IRGC and their circles. And the system is not going anywhere. And these people are really fighting for their own lives. I mean, the leaders, the IRGC, they're fighting for their own lives, for their own privileges. They're not going to give up that easily.
The noted historian Neil Ferguson sort of reposted an excerpt from a piece he wrote a few weeks back. I'm quoting himself here. I want to get your reaction to it. He wrote, "The most conventional thing Donald Trump has done in his entire life has been to go to war in the Middle East. And he has gone about this war in an entirely familiar way. Like president after president since 1950, he has found it easy to get into war, harder to get out. Like president after president since 1969, he has hoped that air power and or economic sanctions would avoid the risks of having boots on the ground. The classic pattern of U.S. interventions is nearly always fire, aim, ready. The classic pattern of American diplomacy is nearly always to regard talking and fighting as alternatives to one another rather than complements." Is that a fair assessment, not only of what's going on now, but sort of the pattern that has emerged with respect to American presidents of the last 70 years?
Well, I would say President Trump, in a way, has disrupted this tradition as Professor Ferguson has said, because in a way now you're actually both shooting and talking. I mean, not to the same degree, but you see that. I mean, you see the U.S. attacking Iranian targets every once in a while, and there's still talks. I mean, to some degree, there are talks. But again, I think it all boils down. I mean, specifically now to this conflict in the Gulf, it boils down to the question whether the U.S. is willing to put the effort of opening the strait by force. If it does, it makes the only card Iran has in its hand to hold the world still, wait for its answer as to negotiations and the results. If it doesn't, then it's a very sad thing because Iran, again, didn't discover this, as some people say. I think that's nonsense. They had it all the time, but they didn't dare use it the way they do now, which shows you how desperate they are. But once they have discarded the strait, they can definitely exact a heavy price from at least part of the world, which is exactly what they're doing. There's one more card that they've started to use and they haven't maximized yet, and that's another great concern of the U.S., I'm sure, and that is, of course, hitting their neighbors even more deeply than they have so far, meaning the UAE, Bahrain, etc., hitting these countries, ruining their desalination plants, etc., and that could really make life there much, much harder.
But I mean, ultimately, just to be clear, you're saying, look, the only way this is a victory, even if the regime stays, it's a victory if you reopen the strait, and that's going to require force. And there's just going to be no way around it because you're not going to be able to trust a deal that is memorialized on paper if you don't bring the force necessary to reopen the strait.
That's pretty much exactly what I'm saying, yes.
Menahem Merhavi is senior fellow at the Harry Truman Institute at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Menahem Merhavi, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And he joined us on the AlphaWealthGroup.com answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only two good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
For months, you've been hearing ads about Virago immune support. I have to tell you, this stuff is for real. I had an occasion to not be feeling well on a remote broadcast. I took it, and it is the real deal. And the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body defends against diseases, viruses, and everything else. That's why Dr. Huber created Virago, a liquid immune booster supplement. You take it daily. It's a blend of 23 nutraceuticals working in synergy to maximize effects and boost your immune system. It's the nutraceutical cocktail for an immune system, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. Virago even protects your heart, your kidneys, your liver, all in a unique liquid supplement for better absorption. Do yourself and your spouse a favor. Order a bottle of Virago today online at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Maha and Virago, making America healthy again.
Stuck in Illinois? Between the taxes, the politics, the weather, it's exhausting. But leaving isn't as simple as packing up and going. That's where leavingil.com comes in. We help you create a smart step-by-step plan so you don't make the wrong move at the wrong time. Start with our quick exit readiness assessment today. Go to leavingil.com. That's leavingil.com. Or call 224-800-6979.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, at Evenings of Conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
Platform safety is critical at your commercial and industrial facility. Keeping people safe and meeting OSHA requirements isn't optional. That's why Vans Industrial offers free platform inspections by professional structural engineers who know exactly what to look for. Problems with platforms, ladders, or stairs can lead to costly fines or worse. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to protect people in your facility.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. With decades of experience, I bring long-standing industry knowledge from inspecting, correcting, and replacing countless platforms to make facilities safer. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor equipped to modify or replace steel catwalks, handrails, stairways, and ladders. Our union building trades professionals fabricate and install high-quality steel systems that create safer work environments.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free platform inspection by professional structural engineers. See what else we can do for you. Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANSindustrial.com.
Penny Mustard's double-sided hybrid mattresses combine a supportive coil spring center with specialty foam.
A flippable mattress that will change the way you sleep.
It also improves your Wi-Fi signal and eliminates bedhead.
No.
But every mattress is made in Wisconsin and built to last.
Plus, your new hybrid mattress removes wrinkles and reduces small talk.
You're gonna get us in trouble.
Okay, fine. Results may vary.
Come see our selection of double-sided hybrid mattresses at Penny Mustard.
PennyMustard.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
That sound means it's time for our weekly edition of In-Depth History with Frank, the history teacher from Arlington Heights. Because there's nothing new in this world, just the history you don't know, and Frank does. Frank, take it away.
Good morning. Knowing a price scheme would be economic folly, President Calvin Coolidge, before vetoing the 1927 McNary-Hagan Farm Support Bill, said to his cabinet, quote, "Farmers have never made much money," end quote. Very true. And the reason for this is that farmers back then were the ultimate example of perfect competition, a market structure in which producers do not make long-run profits, mostly due to low barriers to entry and no product differentiation, allowing many competitors. A few years later, though, the New Deal led to price supports, but at least today, agriculture is more mechanized than the 20s and 30s, which has made it more profitable, almost like the industrial monopolies and oligopolies, which were fought for decades by the progressives, ultimately resulting in the Sherman and Clayton antitrust acts. In fact, unions themselves also exist because of this reality of long-run profits of such firms. Otherwise, they wouldn't have anything to collectively bargain for. But it is the fourth and final market structure, the oxymoronically named monopolistic competition, that is most interesting. Such firms have a harder time making money because of the low barriers to entry, creating much competition. Yet they can also differentiate their products, which is the monopolistic part. Fast food is the ultimate example of this. This is why Burger King flame broils, Wendy's always cooks fresh beef, and McDonald's has the grimace, a role JB might try out for if defeated. On the pizza front, it's even more pronounced, as now a Pizza Hut franchisee with 80 units is bringing back the old freestanding restaurant model with video games as a way to tap into nostalgia. The smaller players do well too. And yes, Barnaby's Northbrook is better than Vito and Nick's. AI should definitely help these firms differentiate better, creating more competition, increasing supply, thereby having a deflationary effect. Hopefully the Fed takes note of this as it tries to centrally plan our interest rates going forward.
Very good, Frank. It's by Milton Friedman would have been proud of that. Look, if Pizza Hut comes back with, and I'm not a big Pizza Hut fan, but if they come back with Galaga video games at that place, I may go over there.
Well, I have a question for Chuck from Delavan, because I'm old enough to know this. Back in the late 80s, the Pizza Hut there, I want Chuck to tell us what the little tabletop game was up there at Delavan, if he's ever on the radio and he hears this.
I mean, it's got all the like at all those restaurants, the tabletop games were either like Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man, Donkey Kong.
Or something else. And Chuck would know.
Galaga. Yeah. No, I remember. And the What was the other? Oh, the Northbrook thing. I thought you might have gone with Hackney's when you were.
Oh, Hackney's is great with burgers, no doubt.
When you were talking about the burger joints, I thought you may have gone the Hackney's route, but you didn't.
They used to have 6 units. Now they're down to 3.
Yeah.
Or is it 2? Or is it 2?
I think it's just 2. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Lake and the original Harms over there.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, Hackney's is wonderful. Yeah.
Well, wonderful job as always. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
All right, coming up at 7:07, we'll see how Graham Plattner is holding up under additional scrutiny. It's now 7 o'clock on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
They can vote now in Iowa. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Polls just opening in one of 6 states holding primaries today.
I want a Democratic Party that wants people to make more money. I want you to be able to buy a new truck.
Zach Walz is facing Josh Turek in a race for Senate.
What we're fighting for, first and foremost, a livable wage. Affordable housing.
The winner likely faces Republican Congresswoman Ashley Hinson as Democrats trying to win control of Congress hope to take the seat now held by retiring Iowa GOP Senator Joni Ernst. There are also key contests in California, including for governor. Republican Steve Hilton tells Fox.
I really know that we can win in November, but this top 2 primary, it's very tricky.
The top 2 candidates, regardless of party, will advance to the general election. There are more than 60 hopefuls in the governor's race, including Hilton and fellow Republican Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco, and Democrats, including billionaire Tom Steyer, former Congresswoman Katie Porter, and former Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra.
As Fox's Kristen Goodwin, it's up to at least 18 people dead in Ukraine, more than 100 injured after a Russian missile and drone attack overnight, hitting apartment buildings and other civilian targets in Kyiv and other cities. President Trump is suggesting a possible deal to end the Iran conflict this week, but Iran keeps demanding Israel has to stop attacking Hezbollah militants in Lebanon. The president says after talking to both sides that fighting will stop, but Axios reports the Trump call with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu was tense.
Everybody hates you now. Everybody hates Israel because of this. A second source briefed on the call said Trump was pissed and at one point yelled at Netanyahu, "What the F are you doing?" At this moment, Israeli troops remain in southern Lebanon, and overnight there were a few sirens in northern Israel from Hezbollah rocket and drone attacks, as well as a small number of Israeli strikes in Lebanon.
Fox's Trey Yingst back to Iowa. 7 people and 1 family dead in a murder-suicide.
I simply do not have the words. This act of evil and what it has done to our community.
Muscatine Police Chief Anthony Keys. America's listening to Fox.
55 degrees, and we have sunshine this morning in the QC Kinetics newsroom. A high of 75 later today. The family of the Loyola University Chicago student murdered in March expressing outrage that her suspected killer was caught with a makeshift knife in jail. Sheridan Gorman's mother said Jose Medina is a danger in and out of custody.
40 feet between the life Sheridan should have had and the criminal illegal immigrant demon who stole it.
Cook County Sheriff's Office says Medina was found with a 6-inch shank last week at the Cook County Jail. His public defender says wait for all the information to come out in the case.
Right now, all we know is that he may or may not be charged with having a shank in the jail. And even when he is charged with that, we don't know if it was him or someone around him.
The suspect.
So before we jump to conclusions, I think we should read the evidence.
The suspect faces first-degree murder and weapons charges after prosecutors say he shot and killed the 18-year-old Gorman near a Lake Michigan pier on March 19. The Illinois General Assembly has passed legislation to regulate those highly popular e-bikes, scooters, and other so-called micro-mobility devices. State Representative Barbara Hernandez.
First, it closes the gaps in current law by defining the regulation devices like electric scooters, skateboards, and unicycles under a single category.
Hernandez says the goal is safer regulation.
By putting age limits, speed requirements, making sure that those that are higher of a certain speed, there is insurance registration asked from individuals.
The micro-mobility bill did clear the state legislature on Monday and now can go to Governor J.B. Pritzker's desk. White Sox lost to the Twins 9-6. The news a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. SurroundChicago.com today. A check of the roads in 2 minutes on AM 560.
Larry Elder believes the president deserves the credit.
Well, the Iranian people might not rise up and take back their country. Okay, therefore, we'll just let them continue to develop a nuclear bomb, right? And President Trump said he was not going to allow that to happen on his watch. The man should be celebrated. The world is going to be safer when this war is over. Eventually it'll be over. And the president should be saluted.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Born on America's darkest day, 9/11/01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping American heroes ever since. Heroes like FDNY Lieutenant Edward J. McDonough Jr. McDonough served at Ground Zero. He later lost his life to a related cancer. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation was able to honor his sacrifice by paying off the family's mortgage. Donate $11 a month, and you can amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-738-2856. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-738-2856. 800-738-2856. 800-738-2856.
7:07. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg traffic center time. Eisenhower inbound accident on the right-hand shoulder. Inbound right at Central. Delays with a disabled vehicle on the right-hand shoulder. Outbound Stevenson at Pulaski. Stop and go traffic solid northbound on Lakeshore Drive between Bryn Mawr and Hollywood. And roadwork delays northbound Route 53 between the Ike and Northwest Highway. Traffic, a service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University and the Sean Thompson Show. 560theanswer.com/store. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now a check of your forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Today, expect abundant sunshine and pleasant conditions, ideal for outdoor activities with a high of 74. Tonight will bring a clear sky, offering a low of 51. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny and warm, reaching a high of 82. By Thursday, anticipate partly sunny skies and very warm temperatures with a high of 86. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. I think the Republican Party is really benefiting from the national profile. Well, today, specifically of Karen Basula, Karen Bass, the mayor of L.A., or Bass Ackwards, as Kelsey Grammer calls her. I like that. In addition to two of the party's high-profile Senate candidates come the fall, ostensibly, Tallarico's in, Plattner's not yet, but tracking that way. unless he completely disintegrates, which may be happening before our very eyes. Yeah, Graham Plattner and Jimmy Tallarico are not really helping the left's brand, I suspect, very much. And particularly Plattner's now with that issue we discussed yesterday, story over the weekend that he was sexting as many as a dozen women while he was married. And he was on these bizarre sites like Kik, which I guess, I don't know, it's characterized by some as a site for predators. There's also a suggestion that there are more shoes to drop with respect to Plattner and this issue, like of a Eric Swalwell nature. Don't know, but that's what Ryan Saavedra posted. He was a writer for the Daily Wire. And yesterday, Plattner spoke about the allegations after his wife had posted that video that we went over yesterday, standing by her man and saying, yeah, you know, marriage ain't easy and we've had our troubles, but we've got counselors and we're getting on. Plattner addressing the story in his wife's presence, saying there's always one way to go, that this is establishment media lies. They're trying to take me down because I'm speaking for the people, and they can't stand anybody who speaks for the people. So that's what this is all about. But it was sort of odd because, on the one hand, there's sort of an acknowledgement that these sexting messages did occur. On the other hand, Plattner says they didn't.
It's no surprise to me that the establishment media outlets are just going to run gossip instead of wanting to talk about the things that actually matter in this race, which are the material realities that the Mainers are working with. These people are going to try to make this race about anything but what it's supposed to be about, which is policy. They never want to talk about policy. Amy and I have a very loving and very happy marriage. They would very much like to try to rip that apart. They're going to come after us in every awful way that they possibly can. And we're just going to keep talking about the fact that the hospitals are closing, the fact that child care facilities are closing, the fact that teachers and nurses aren't paid enough, and the fact that everybody down here continues to work harder and longer and get less. But, of course, the powers that be do not want us to talk about that. And so we're going to just do gossip instead.
Gossip. Okay. So he was pressed, so the story isn't true?
But the stories are true, right? About the texts?
No, this is the amazing part. The Wall Street Journal and the New York Times ran stories without any evidence besides the gossip from a former staffer. I'm sorry, that's frankly journalistic malpractice. We pushed back on it. They won it. They did it anyways.
Renata, do you have a question? So are you confirming that the messages did not exist?
What's that?
The messages, they did not.
I'm confirming that what Genevieve McDonald said in the New York Times is not true.
So you never met with her about uncomfortable, for lack of a better word, sexting messages as the campaign was going?
We talked about things in Amy and I's marriage that we've gone through over the years. We talked about that because that's our marriage, and we discussed it with the campaign. What Genevieve McDonald claims isn't true.
The story goes like this. Genevieve McDonald, is one of three officials who quit Plattner's campaign last fall after all these details about his past began emerging. This young left-wing apparatchik who made his name as part of the DSA crew that got Mamdani elected in New York City. Morris Katz is his name. Caught wind of this, who's working for Plattner, caught wind of this Wall Street Journal story, the details about the sexting messages. Then he demanded that Genevieve McDonald, the former staffer, call up the Wall Street Journal and deny the sexting scandal to the outlet and record herself doing so that she could send it to the campaign. McDonald didn't take kindly to being threatened, so she went on record with the New York Times, which confirmed the bombshell story shortly after the Wall Street Journal reported it. The outlet reported that Plattner had sexted as many as a dozen women, though his campaign claimed it was only 6. Wait a second. His campaign claimed it was only 6. So he said the sexting messages, that's false. But the campaign confirmed that there were 6 instances of such messages, or 6 women involved in such messages. McDonald, the former staffer, recounted how Plattner's wife informed him she discovered her husband had sent sexually explicit messages to various women while his campaign was doing internal opposition research to prepare for potential dirt his rivals might be able to dig up. And Katz's response to the story, then when it came, it's no one's effing business what happened in Graham and Amy's marriage before he was ever a candidate for office. There should be no place in our politics for incompetent, opportunistic operatives who violate privacy, betray trust, and prioritize vengeance over decency. Yeah, I mean, that's all well and good. By the way, why didn't you ever sign an NDA when she went to work for you? That was a mistake, because they apparently tried to offer $15,000 when she quit to sign an NDA on her way out the door, and she declined. Not going well. And again, I said yesterday, this almost smacks of a sort of a purposeful, self-inflicted controversy to distract away from controversies that may be more politically damaging than just sexting with women who are not your wife. Because in this day and age, how damaging is that really, as long as the wife is standing by him? Now, his inability to tell the truth on anything, talking about Graham Plattner, that could come back to haunt him. For example, I mean, there's one thing after the other. The Free Beacon has a story about his alleged role as being the Sullivan, Maine town harbor master. This is all part of, trying to, frankly, it appears, invent, working class bona fides, even though he is comes from a wealthy local family. He claimed that he had been the harbor master for the last 2 years in a podcast interview in February. He actually had the role for about 18 months before quitting to launch a Senate campaign. And the role was largely a clerical one, according to local records and people familiar with the position, per the Free Beacon's reporting. So the presentation is that, he's a guy, blue-collar guy, working with his hands. He's an oyster farmer. He's a harbor master. He's a workaday Johnny Lunchpail kind of guy. No. Just like he got Department of Assistance, the VA assistance from the VA to purchase his home in Sullivan, Maine in 2017. But that's not what happened. He borrowed $200,000 from his father. He's never been close to money or power. That's what he says. That's what he says on the campaign trail. He went to a Connecticut boarding school that cost $75,000 a year. He's the grandson of a world-famous architect known for designing $20,000 chairs. That oyster farming business? His mom's restaurant is the only client. All of this stuff. And it's like that. None of that bothers me. It's he went to a boarding school. His parents are successful. He's got relatives that are successful. Great. But not when you're poor-mouthing your upbringing for the purposes of presenting yourself as something that you're not. Remarkable. And then there's the stuff that's really damaging. He's getting, I think, the wrong guys riled up. Mentioned the op-ed that was written by the soldier who received a Purple Heart for his bravery and Purple Heart because he was wounded in a firefight in Iraq. And Plattner had made a disparaging comment about him, basically saying he shouldn't come home alive. And so he responded with an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. Well, he's not the only one, because Graham Plattner also accused American Sniper Chris Kyle of his record being overstated, and he accused him of indiscriminately killing civilians during the Battle of Ramadi. Well, that has drawn a response from Leif Babin. In the Battle of Ramadi in 2016, I was the platoon commander for Charlie Platoon in SEAL Team 3's Task Unit Bruiser. Chris was our lead sniper and point man. He was an outstanding SEAL sniper, teammate, and friend, which is why it was so upsetting to those who fought alongside him when we learned Graham Plantner had been claiming falsely that he witnessed Chris indiscriminately kill civilians during the Battle of Ramadi 20 years ago. Through our deployment, Task Unit Bruiser operated within strict rules of engagement. I'm proud of Chris and our other snipers and SEAL operators for the discipline they exercised in following those rules of engagement. The high number of enemy combatants Chris and other SEAL snipers eliminated came not from being less discriminating in the rules, but from accepting the risk to conduct operations deep inside enemy territory where there had been few to no U.S. forces present, where armed enemy fighters carrying machine guns and RPGs exercised almost total freedom of movement. In addition to disparaging Chris and Task Unit Bruiser SEALs, Plantner has made similar contemptuous remarks about his fellow Marines who we hold in high regard. Why he chose to do this, I cannot say. Plantner now says he's been through a lot, struggled with mental health issues, and admit he said things he regrets. I hope he finds peace, and I hope he finds the courage to retract the false accusations against his fellow Marines, Task Unit Bruiser, and Chris Kyle. Oh, boy. Did he learn nothing from Swift Boat Veterans for Truth and John Kerry's experience?
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
It is that time of year again to save babies by providing ultrasounds with our friends at Preborn. You know how this goes. We've done it every single year at this time. All you have to do is pick up the phone and say, I want to provide a free ultrasound to a girl. Give her the chance to see the truth of what's happening in her body. Every $28 helps do that, saving one baby. $280 can do that, helps save 10 babies. More does more. The phone number is 833-850-2229. 833-850-BABY. Join us saving babies with Preborn again this year. We're going to save hundreds of babies, one at a time, 2 or 5 or 10 at a time. That phone number again is 833-850-BABY. That's 833-850-2229. Or go online to 560theanswer.com/baby.
At Signature Bank, going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
RedState.com captures the pulse of grassroots conservatism. Red State staff of contributors are on top of breaking news with stories and analysis that challenge the established agenda. RedState.com educates, motivates, and activates passionate conservatives across America, arming them with the facts that put them ahead of the political curve. No wonder RedState.com is a must-read for elected officials and for citizens who want to make their vote count. RedState.com is the place where influence meets action. Log on to RedState.com today.
AM 560, The Answer.
Text from 815. That dude, Graham Plantner, reminds me of the Martin Sheen character from Dead Zone. Yeah. Greg Stilson. Yeah. The politician. Yeah. That's a pretty good reference. All right, I wanted to switch gears. I wanted to get to this for a few days now. I saw this story in the New York Post last week. I would take this Pilates class here in Oak Forest, but unfortunately they discriminate against men. And I got to tell you, too, I know, the subject of punchlines for being such a Pilates fan, but I'm telling you, especially for guys, I'm telling guys I play golf with all the time, like you have back problems and stuff. There is nothing better for flexibility. After I take Pilates, go through a Pilates training session and then go play, I mean, it is just night and day. It's not just flexibility, but it's the fluidity of motion. So it doesn't only just help with my turn on the swing. It helps with everything, chipping, putting, because you're just so fluid in your movement. So I'm just telling you, I gotta promote this more. I gotta get more guys playing golf, particularly if they're struggling with stiffness and stuff. It's good for core strength and all the things and the stuff that women do too. But I mean, if for golf in particular, or really any athletics, for balance and flexibility and fluidity of motion, I gotta tell you. But this class in Oak Forest has innovated the Pilates experience specifically for women. And Georgia Worrell, who is a reporter for the New York Post, came to the south suburbs of Oak Forest, the south suburb of Oak Forest specifically, to take this class. And here's her reporting on it.
Georgia Worrell from the New York Post here in Oak Forest, Illinois, where Pistols and Pilates is turning heads with its unexpected mix of fitness and firearms. We're stepping into class today to see what this controversial workout craze is all about. Let's go.
Pilates is all about control, and so is holding a gun. It's the reservation of I have the power, but I don't have to use it. Learning how to control both. Some people are not into Pilates, some people are not into guns. Completely understand that. But this is more of a women's empowerment class. That's the main purpose behind this. Just finished Pilates and I am sweating bullets. Now it's time to go fire some. Let's go.
We want people to understand firearms because, one, it is a sport. It's not just to protect yourself, and of course that's important, but it is a sport. It's a fun sport at that too. So I think everybody should at least know the safeties of it and how to operate, understand not to point it to people, things like that, just the basic safety rules.
I live alone, so firearm safety is very important to me, being able to have a independent sense of protection for myself, being by myself. So I was like, I want to do something for my birthday. And it just stood out to me. I'm like, this was in Pilates. What a great mix of the two.
It's been a great day at Eagle Sports Range in Illinois. The girls came together, we did some Pilates, shot some guns, and I've always liked Pilates, but I think that this gun thing might become a new hobby of mine. We felt really empowered and just had a great day. So I highly recommend, 10 out of 10. This was Georgia Worrell from the New York Post.
Yeah, I feel real empowered after Pilates too. No, I'm kidding. But I do feel a lot better. Give credit where credit's due. You heard Eagle Sports Range, and then the Pilates studio is Olive Pilates Studio. That's the co-host of the event. So basically, there's space inside of Eagle Sports Range where they set up and they do Pilates. Not on the Reformer. I think it's mat Pilates. For those of you in the know to differentiate between the Reformer and the mat Pilates. And then you go right to the range. Pretty cool. Yeah. Text from 312. Why is your game so frustrating then? Because it's golf, man. That's why. It's a tough game. Even if you have great fluidity of motion, it's still tough. All right, coming up at 7:37, Jelly Belly prepares to say bye-bye to the Bears. We'll talk about that and all things Illinois policy related with WirePoints.org's Mark Lennon, 7:37. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
In our QC Kinetics newsroom this morning, we're seeing a sunny and pleasant day ahead. High 75. Great for golf. Global shares are mostly higher today after President Donald Trump said Israel and Hezbollah had agreed to dial back some fighting. Oil prices were lower, but still above $90 a barrel. Voters heading to the polls in New Jersey and Iowa today.
Josh Turek and State Senator Zach Walzer competing in the Democratic primary for the U.S. Senate seat being vacated by incumbent Republican Joni Ernst. And Republicans have largely rallied behind Representative Ashley Hinson. President Trump posted on Truth Social, quote, "I know Ashley well, and she is a winner and a loving wife and proud mother of 2 sons. Ashley is a wonderful person and has always delivered for Iowa and will continue doing so in the United States Senate." And to New Jersey, among races of all of the state's congressional districts are up for election, and in the more than a dozen Democrat candidates who are vying for New Jersey's 12th congressional district, one potential frontrunner is plastic surgeon and U.S. Army veteran Adam Hamilweed.
Russian forces have launched a massive aerial attack on Kyiv and other Ukrainian cities, killing at least 18. The European Union is agreeing on a major overhaul of its immigration policy, aiming to increase deportations, establish detention centers, and critics are comparing the move to the Trump administration's immigration policies. The family of the Loyola University Chicago student murdered in March, expressing outrage that her suspected killer was caught with a makeshift knife in jail. Sheridan Gorman's mother saying Jose Medina is a danger in and out of custody. The suspect now faces first-degree murder and weapons charges after prosecutors say he shot and killed the 18-year-old Gorman. Governor Pritzker is accepting the fact the Bears could leave the state after the General Assembly failed to approve a bill designed to help the team build in Arlington Heights.
The reality is I wasn't willing to give up billions of dollars of taxpayer money in order to give it to a billionaire-owned family or team.
Last night at the opening of the Village Board meeting in Arlington Heights, Mayor Jim Tenalia expressed his disappointment.
It's a disappointment that a legislative session can go for weeks and weeks and weeks, and nothing happens until almost midnight of the last day.
Hammond, Indiana maintains they are now the only viable option left on the table for a nearby Bears stadium. White Sox lost to the Twins 9-6. Cubs and A's at Wrigley Field tonight, and the Bears are back at Hallis Hall for OTAs. The news service of Goldilocks offering Chicagoland state-of-the-art smart security systems. AM 560 listeners receive 3 months of monitoring free with new installs. Get peace of mind. Call Goldilocks 708-889-5600. A check of the roads in 2 minutes on AM 560.
It's almost time for AM 560's annual golf outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation as they support America's first responder and military heroes to help America never forget 9/11. It's all happening on Monday, June 15th at McCray Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. Enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Ring at leavingil.com.
It's Reveille. Another year, another record budget in Illinois under Pritzker, all funded by new taxes totaling $900 million and $3.8 billion in new borrowing. Unbelievably, in describing the financial situation, Democrat leaders spoke of this as being a tight budget year, but that doesn't make sense. Democrats found an estimated $500 million to support illegal immigrants for health care, welcoming centers, and more. That doesn't include a new program that gives non-resident illegal aliens in-state tuition. Also funded in this tight budget year is the new FRESH program, which will spend about $70 million to give people who were found to be ineligible for the federal food stamp program $400 cash payments. State employees will receive their collective bargaining increases, and taxpayers will absorb higher healthcare costs for them and Medicaid recipients. While the details aren't clear yet, Republicans say there's a $200 to $400 million slush fund for Democrats to hand out grants to various projects in their districts. Not funded, though, is the full amount requested for organizations and direct support personnel who work with the developmentally disabled and our older adults under state care. Their request was for a pay raise of $1.20 per hour. Instead, Pritzker and his Democrats gave them a measly 60-cent raise, half of what they asked for. The difference would have only cost the state $24 million. To add further insult, the legislators voted themselves a 3.2% pay raise, pushing their pay to over $101,450 for a part-time job. This year, they are only scheduled to meet for 51 days. On another note, the spring session ended with no deal for the Bears, but stay tuned. There's enough legislators on both sides that want to put some incentive package together. I'm Jeannie Ives. Listen to The Real Story Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. and sign up for my newsletter at breakthrough-ideas.com.
Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
7:36 Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. I-57, accident right shoulder inbound at Halstead. DuSable Lakeshore Drive is jammed up solid northbound right at Foster. An accident with a left lane blocked on the Tri-State southbound on 294 between the Cermak toll to right before Ogden. And they're clearing an accident in northwest Indiana westbound on 94 right at the Porter and LaPorte County line. Traffic, a service of Unbound.org. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now a check of your forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center. Sunny and pleasant and a high of 75.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Insert Democrat socialist here.
Runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when you're moving out. I said, when you're moving out.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. That theme music means it's time for a weekly conversation with wirepoints.org boys. All things Illinois policy related. And we'll get to wirepoints.org founder Mark Glennon momentarily. First, I just want to go back to something that we started the show with because it is Election Day in L.A., and I think the Spencer Pratt campaign is instructive for people who want to try to do something in Chicago, say next year when Brandon Johnson is up for re-election. Listen to a good example of the appeal that he has by telling the truth about what has happened to L.A., as opposed to just being another guy telling the beautiful lies that the left wants to hear. so they can, manage their egos. Doug Ellen is the creator of the very popular show on HBO, you'll remember, called Entourage with Adrian Grenier. He's voting for Spencer Pratt, not a Trump supporter, not MAGA. Here's why.
Hey, LA Times gaslighters. It's weird. One of 15 cameras that I now have at this house. 2 German Shepherds, 3 legal guns. 5 years ago, didn't lock a door here, but you know what happened? 2 animals invaded my house. And no, I'm not racist because they were wearing masks. I don't know if they were white. I don't know if they were Jewish. I don't know if they were f***ing rabbis. I know they were animals because they invaded my house. I know I don't care what their excuses are, like a lot of you care. I know invaders of homes should get 20 years, but I'm not paranoid, so I don't believe your about the stats and the crime, because everyone in my neighborhood has got the same problem. They're all putting cameras and hiring security guards because we're all getting broken into. It's not made up, it's not false, and this city has collapsed in the last 5 years. There is no denying it unless you have an agenda, and I don't know what that is. But you say, oh, Spencer Pratt has no experience, so how can we possibly think about this? What experience did Karen Bass have, or Rick Caruso, who we know can build things, who we know can fix problems, when you made sure he couldn't win? So right now, you're putting people in the same position that you did with Trump, who I did not vote for, by the way. You put him in by making sure we had no options, okay? And that's where we are in LA, and we want to fix this place because we don't want to be forced out. I'm one of the people who made this city look great. I did it for years. I glorified it. I meet people all the time that moved here because the show that I created, and they hate it here now. Hate.
Yeah. So that's part of the truth that has to be told. In Chicago, specifically, I think to have a Spencer Pratt-like occurrence next year, you're going to have to tell the truth about something else that's more difficult and really hasn't been central to Pratt's campaign the way that the homeless, drug addict, domestic violence, domestic violent crime problem has been central, in addition to, obviously, the hyperlocal issue of the fire that destroyed the Pacific Palisades in Malibu. But there's another issue here. There's 2 other issues here. One that LA shares with us and one it doesn't. The one it doesn't, of course, is the Pritzker-Purge law, the Safety Act. You're going to have to address that if you want to be seen as a truth teller here. And you're going to have to address it with the same sort of unvarnished, informed approach that Spencer Pratt has taken on the issues that are specific to LA, like the fire and fire management. The other that we both share, but hasn't been, as I said, central to the LA mayor's race, like it will need to be if you want to do something different and present something different next year in Chicago, is taking up the call of the Gorman family and so many other families like the Gormans. Mr. and Mrs. Gorman, Sheridan Gorman's parents, in Chicago for status hearing as the prosecution proceeds against Sheridan Gorman's alleged killer.
It's obviously very emotional. It's like looking at evil straight on.
I don't know how justice is ever served. There's nothing that can be taken from him that is equal to what was taken from our daughter. I hear our governor speak of these policies and touting them as this great, wonderful thing, and it triggers us. I am deeply disturbed that this is going to happen again.
My daughter made it 40 feet. She feared for her life. 40 feet she ran for her life. Imagine your child 40 feet running for their life and never coming home. And then tell me why you're voting for these policies.
And if you're unwilling to pick up the challenge that Sheridan Gorman's mom just issued and put that to the political class in Illinois and specifically in Chicago next year, where you're going to have a competitive mayor's race, then forget about it. It'll be more of the same. You can't not address the issues that you're told not to address to be part of the orthodoxy in the city. And that's what Spencer Pratt figured out. Or maybe he didn't even figure it out. He was just so upset that he didn't care. That works too. Mark Lennon, founder of WirePoints, wirepoints.org. Mark, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Boy, Dan, what a coincidence. I just happened to get back from L.A., spent 3 days there. We got back late last night. And what was most striking was the good, fair coverage for all the Republicans out there, and not on television, not just Spencer Pratt, but today's the primary, so there's many of them running, and they're given a fair hearing. They're all over the TV with good ads, by the way, going after the left-wing establishment out there. And then the TV commentators start talking about it, and then they actually have a fair discussion about it. This is all something you never see in Chicago. We live in a fictional world here, and Los Angeles, of all places, is doing a much better job covering this stuff fairly.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really kind of dumbfounded by it because I expected the worst.
Well,
but it's not the case.
We're the new La La Land, right? I mean, they're more grounded than Chicago is. That says something. But the difference is you have compelling candidates, particularly with respect to Pratt, to rally around. And the LA press corps probably looks around and sees people like, the creator of Entourage posting videos like that and says, we better understand the sort of broad coalition of support that Spencer Pratt is enjoying. We better think about just exactly what's happening here.
Yeah, and you're right. A lot has to do with the candidates, and Spencer Pratt has figured something out that a lot of others haven't. But I would say that a lot of these other candidates out there are very colorful, and they're doing good work. I don't know if they'll have any chance in the general election. You know more about that than I do, but at least they're putting the issues on the table.
Back here, it sounds like Governor Jelly Belly is readying to wave bye-bye to the Bears. He said, as much as of an emotional connection as many of us have to the Bears and to keeping them in the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, the number one principle is we're not going to foist this on taxpayers of the state of Illinois, not going to give up billions of taxpayer money to give it to a billionaire-owned family or team. No, of course not. We only do that. We only give hundreds of millions, ultimately billions of dollars to billionaires who are members of the Chinese Communist Party who want to build a battery plant here. We'll do that, but we can't do it for the Bears, Mark.
Yeah. Where the money goes is a central problem. But, absolutely. He knows that the polls say, we've all seen them, that taxpayers tell pollsters they do not want to give any money to the McCaskies. I mean, the team is worth $8 or $9 billion or something like that. But at the same time, they don't want to see the Bears leave, and it sure looks like they're going to because nothing's happening. And the McCaskies want that $1 billion in his offering.
Well, that's the interesting thing is people are maybe looking at this and saying, oh my gosh, if the Bears leave. The Bears leave, even the Bears have left Illinois kind of thing, which will be sort of delicious in a certain way. But the reality is, and this is what they're looking at, I'm talking about the politicians, all these neo-Marxists, because that's who dominates here, of course, is they're looking at and they say, we can get away with the Bears leaving, so the hell with it. That's what they're saying.
Boy, and look at this budget is insane. I mean, there is so much gobbledygook in there with their attempts to regulate things online and sticking their fingers into advertising revenue, for tech companies and online betting, all kinds of things. This is the messiest attempt at tax increases. There's another billion or so, give or take a couple $100 million in there in tax increases, mostly falling on business that'll be passed along to consumers. They face no consequences. It's just like criminals in Chicago. What's to worry about? There are no consequences in the election system.
Yeah, and BLM Brandon, when he's not rolling out a backdoor rent control ordinance, we've got this thing going now, a homegrown purchase assistance grant aimed at low to moderate income families, going to provide up to $70,000 in down payment grants to 300 to 400 buyers, depending on the size of each grant awarded. This program launches next week. All you do is you complete a HUD, a certified homebuyer education, and you're in the market for a 1 or 2 unit home in Chicago that you'll occupy for at least 5 years as your primary residence, and you can get up $70,000 of other people's money for the down payment. A family of four, the income limitation, family of four, 182 grand is the cap to qualify. Can't make more than that. Family of four. An individual making up to 127 grand could qualify for $70,000 down payment grant for a home in Chicago if you stay 5 years. Wow. What do you think of that?
That's serious money. Basically, economics is obvious. You subsidize the purchase price. The purchase prices are going to go up, and then congratulations, you'll face the property taxes, which are going to drive the price back down. You'll have to pay it. It's just a circular scheme that's designed only to take the tax revenue from people.
Well, right, and we've got, and don't forget, this is part of that $1.25 billion bond that was approved back in 2024. So it's time to start distributing the largesse of the borrowed money to, build political support, right?
Yeah, of course, that's right. We borrowed the money to pay for this current expense. It's another generational transfer that our kids are going to have to deal with if they're still here, and they probably won't be.
Well, the only good news is I assume if he's starting to spend that funny money that he borrowed against, that maybe we'll get those gimme dat grocery stores so he can keep up with Mamdani when it comes to erecting the city-owned grocery stores to provide, there you go, right? Provide subsidized groceries to reduce the, cost, to address the affordability crisis. That's coming between now and next February's primary.
That's his ideology, and I bet he'll be undissuaded by the problems that are already apparent with that program in New York that Mamdani's running. But that's one of their favorite topics, so I'm sure they'll be on it.
By the way, I don't know if you saw this, but just with the all the excitement, can you feel it in the air? It's palpable with the Obama land opening coming this summer. Hottest ticket in town, I'm told, Mark. In 2014, George Lucas picked Chicago for a $1 billion privately funded museum for his legendary movie collection. Not just movie collection, but Norman Rockwell paintings and so on and so forth. No taxpayer dollars. Of course, that was blocked. Now it's in L.A., and it's opening this September. And there's a rendering of it. Well, I think this is actually not a rendering. I think this is near completion, actual construction. It looks cool, super cool, as opposed to this brutalist obelisk on the lake that Obama built. And so think about that in terms of a museum offering, an artistic enhancement to the lakefront, to museum campus. So, and just remember what Chicago did. 19 acres of historic Jackson Park essentially seized or turned over to Obama's. Originally going to be $300 million. Now it's $850, 3x over budget. 2021 was the promised opening, 5 years late. Promised a $470 million endowment so taxpayers wouldn't get stuck. They've only deposited $1 million. So you can bet taxpayers are going to be on the hook for the maintenance costs of this thing. So we blocked what has turned out to be a magnificent museum that was privately funded and is now located in LA. And we did this thing to allow one of the political lords to build a big monument to himself. All promises not kept, and taxpayers almost certainly on the hook, particularly if the political class remains in its current composition.
Oh, it's hundreds of millions of dollars in tax money that has gone into that. And if there's any justification for that, it might well be worth it to have a monument this conspicuous to the other racial grift, failure, and graft that has gone into the Obama administration and that building and everything associated with the Obama's version of the Democratic Party. What a wonderful monument to that.
Yes, it really is. It really is a monument to Chicago politics. That's what it really is. Yeah. Mark Lennon, founder of WirePoints, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois politics related. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Dan. Take care.
Take care. And he joined us in the alphawealthgroup.com answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. California's progressives are eyeing other people's money. Again, the proposed Billionaire Tax Act would amend the state constitution to impose a one-time 5% tax on residents with a net worth above $1 billion. Supporters say it's just a one-time levy for worthy causes, but experience says one time rarely means one time, and the unintended consequences are real. The measure has yet to go before voters, but the threat alone has already pushed almost 40% of California's billionaire wealth out of the state. Gone. Along with it, income taxes, sales taxes, property taxes, and the charitable giving those individuals once supported. Wealth is mobile. It goes where it's treated well, and it's not hard to see why. California should remember that before it drives even more of its tax base away.
Hey, if you're living with joint pain, listen up. Is your life filled with I can't? I can't raise my arms. I can't climb stairs. I can't kneel down. I can't take a long walk or golf with the guys. Well, today's a new day. Take action. A day to celebrate what you can do. And that's exactly what QC Kinetics patients are doing. Back to enjoying their lives again thanks to the innovative treatments offered at QC Kinetics. I've seen the results and personally recommend Dr. Caravelli and her team. So many of you have been through their life-changing regenerative treatments done right in the office. No missing work, no surgery, no long recovery. The inflammation calms down. I want you to schedule a free consultation. You don't have to live a life of I can't. Have a conversation with my friends at QC Kinetics and tell them I sent you when you do. Their treatments are natural, so don't watch summer pass you by again. Take action today. Schedule an appointment right now. Consultations are free. Call 312-827-6261. Again, that number, 312-827-6261. Call QC Kinetics to be pain-free this summer at 312-827-6261.
Chicagoland certified financial planning professional Tim Stearns discusses taxes in retirement.
Most people are paying more in taxes and keeping less of their money to live and do what they enjoy. That's why we've put out the retirement tax bill calculator online. You can see with your own eyes just how much you might be overpaying. It's a valuable tool, $500 value, but we made it free for you to view and run your own numbers at MVPCFP.com. That's MVPCFP.com.
To run your retirement tax bill calculator, go to MVPCFP.com. Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC.
Welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tim. My friend Tim Stearns, a certified financial planner with TJ Stearns Financial Planning in Arlington Heights. Tim, how are you? Welcome back.
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
So, Tim, let's check in on how you've been helping clients achieve financial security and peace of mind. Perhaps you have a story or two, a success story or two, an example of how you've helped clients recently.
I remember I had a neighbor who, believe it or not, was a longtime listener to your show. And he had come up to me in the yard and said he wanted to stop and smell the roses and kind of get out of his job. He was done taking the train downtown to Chicago every day and basically working 60 hours a week for a company that didn't really care about him or his family. So we started running numbers, and lo and behold, he was able to retire 5 years earlier. He's now 12 years retired. He's a grandpa. He's loving life. He, too, needed a protect and grow blueprint, and he had to make sure he wasn't leaving anything to chance for their future.
Thank you, Tim. If you're in your 50s or 60s, I want you to speak with my friend Tim Stearns, TJ Stearns Financial Planning. Tim will help you structure and optimize your savings to prepare for 20 to 30 years of enjoyable retirement. Call Tim today to schedule your free consultation and get your free Protect and Grow blueprint. Call 1-800-640-2256. Again, that number, 800-640-2256. Tell them I sent you when you call Tim at 800-640-2256.
Don't miss In Grace with Pastor Jim Scudder Jr., now heard on Sunday mornings at 7:30. Tune in and find hope as Jim Scudder explores God's Word and His world each Sunday morning right here on AM 560, The Answer. Take the journey of living a happy, successful, and meaningful life through God. Listen to It's Time with Dan Lights, Sunday mornings at 9 on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life. AM 560, The Answer.
We were able to get audio of the call between Trump and Bibi. Trump telling Bibi to stand down with those strikes against Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Asked you, when the did I ever ask you if I could come out here? Get this through your head, Get this through your head, you Jew. You only exist out here because of me. That's the only reason. Without me, you personally, every wise guy still around.
We get the message. It's now 8 o'clock on AM 560 WIND.
The fighting has not stopped in Lebanon. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Despite President Trump's push, Hezbollah launched more rockets and drones targeting Israeli soldiers and civilians today. And Israel targeted Hezbollah in Lebanon with strikes that reportedly killed 8 people, including 2 children. After the president posted on Truth Social, he urged Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu to tone it down in Lebanon, as Iran keeps demanding in talks to end the conflict with the U.S.
He also spoke with representatives of Hezbollah, and they agreed to stop shooting at Israel and its soldiers. Likewise, Israel agreed to stop shooting at them. Let's see how long that lasts.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House.
This call between the president and the Israeli prime minister appears to have gotten quite heated. You can imagine that the pressure that the White House is feeling to try to wrap up this conflict as soon as possible. But the president has also said he'll only do that if a deal is suitable to the U.S.
Another Russian bombardment in Ukraine has left at least 18 people dead, hitting apartment buildings and civilian targets.
Explosions boomed across Ukraine through the night and into the dawn. According to the Ukrainian Air Force, Russia unleashed 73 missiles and more than 650 drones. The main targets included Ukraine's capital Kyiv and cities including Dnipro, Kharkiv and Zaporizhia.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. It is primary day in 6 states, with 2 candidates and 2 California races getting the most attention. Spencer Pratt, who's trying to unseat Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, and Republican Steve Hilton running for California governor. He tells Fox,
"We've never run for office before, neither of us. We're both outsiders running to shake up a system that is obviously broken."
Hilton has President Trump's endorsement and faces dozens of candidates for governor, including Democrats Javier Becerra and Tom Steyer. The top 2 in today's voting face off in a runoff. Same for the L.A. mayor's race. There are also primaries today in New Jersey, New Mexico, Montana, South Dakota, Iowa, where Republican Congresswoman Ashley Hinson got a Trump endorsement. 2 Democrats are vying to challenge her, hoping to replace Iowa GOP retiring Senator Joni Ernst. America. 59 degrees in Chicago. We have sunshine. In our QC Kinetics newsroom, I'm Mike Scott. Illinois lawmakers have sent a ban on new immigration detention centers in the state to the governor's desk. That legislature passed a bill early yesterday banning those detention centers from being placed near homes, schools, churches, and other facilities. Authorities are investigating a deadly stabbing on the south side. Police overnight tell us the victim was found stabbed last night in the 8000 block of South Ellis and declared dead at the scene. Governor Pritzker is accepting a fact. He believes that the Bears could be leaving the state after the General Assembly failed to approve a bill designed to help the team build a stadium in Arlington Heights.
The reality is I wasn't willing to give up billions of dollars of taxpayer money in order to give it to a billionaire-owned family or team.
Meantime, Hammond, Indiana is maintaining they are the only viable option left on the table for a nearby Bears stadium. White Sox lost to the Twins 9-6 at Target Field. Cubs and A's at Wrigley tonight, and the Bears are back at Hallis Hall for OTAs. The News is a service of Goldilocks, offering Chicagoland state-of-the-art smart security systems to protect your home and business. Get peace of mind by calling Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat. It is a service of Signature Bank.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Dollar General shares are up more than 2.5%. Its sales rose in the recent quarter, which helped it to offset the impact of severe winter weather and higher fuel costs. Dollar General's been expanding. It opened 190 stores in the U.S. in the quarter and 5 in Mexico, and renovated more than 650 locations. Berkshire Hathaway is now a major investor in Google's parent company, Alphabet. Reuters says it's part of Google's funding of artificial intelligence infrastructure. Alphabet will sell $10 billion worth of stock to Berkshire in a private placement. Berkshire already had a stake in Alphabet. And NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang believes chipmaker Marvell Technology could be the next company to join the $1 trillion club. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda. Invested in you.
Mike Gallagher isn't sad. He's gone.
I didn't plan to talk about Stephen Colbert's last show, but I've been thinking a little bit about it. He had apparently one Republican on the whole time he hosted the show. You know who it was? Liz Cheney. Now, whoever turns on CBS late at night is not going to be subjected to that kind of propaganda. And that's a good thing.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you 65 or older and dealing with chronic knee or shoulder pain? You're not alone. At the Joint Relief Institute, we've helped thousands find real relief without surgery. Our non-surgical, FDA-approved treatment uses hyaluronic gel that acts like a cushion between the bones in your knee. As we age, the cushion naturally wears down, causing painful grinding and popping. But our gel restores that cushion, allowing your knee to move smoothly again. Ready to stop the pain and get back to doing what you love? Call the Joint Relief Institute at 708-315-6800. Again, that's 708-315-6800.
Move better, live better with JRI.
Move better and live better with JRI. Contact the Joint Relief Institute today and get back to doing what you love. Call 708-315-6800 or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oakbrook, and Orland Park. Call 708-315-6800. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted. Reclaim your mobility with the Joint Relief Institute.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Now, this 25th anniversary of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation remains committed to honoring the heroes shaped by that day. Heroes like NYPD Detective Victor Vargas, a U.S. Air Force veteran who died from pancreatic cancer after serving in the World Trade Center recovery efforts. Tunnel to Towers honored Detective Vargas by paying off the family's mortgage. You can donate $11 a month, and you can amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
8:07. In our Team Hochberg Traffic Center, we spotted an accident on the Kennedy. Right now, right lane block inbound at Ogden Avenue. Delays as well on the Ike. Stop-and-go traffic outbound between Costner and 25th. Problems with a vehicle fire, I-57. We have a right lane blocked southbound right before Vollmer Road, and an accident on 57 on the right-hand shoulder inbound at Halstead. Traffic, a service of Unbound.org. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far at Unbound.org. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now, a check of your forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Today, expect abundant sunshine and pleasant conditions, ideal for outdoor activities with a high of 74. Tonight will bring a clear sky, offering a low of 51. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny and warm, reaching a high of 82. By Thursday, anticipate partly sunny skies and very warm temperatures with a high of 86. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. By the way, just to claw back the Pilates discussion from last hour, I have a great trainer in Naples, so I'm good there. It's a real ass-kicking each session. Yeah, and I prefer to do the privates. I don't really want to be in a class. But I need a trainer because, I need to be separated from the general populace. But I need a trainer, Pilates trainer, or like a place to go to classes up here. So if anybody is one or has a recommendation, does Pilates like I do, like 3-4 times a week, as much as I can, in the Chicagoland area, let me know. Give us a call or a text, and I'll follow up, explore the possibilities. I can't be the only one. And as and I'm obviously comfortable enough in my manhood to have this conversation, even though I know I'll be subject to ridicule, so it's fine. Okay, on another matter, the problem with proposals in places like New York is that Chicago politicians see them and ultimately want to adopt them here. I mean, Ed Burke was famous for that. Any sort of big government gambit that was proposed in New York City, Ed Burke would take and propose in Chicago because, we have to keep up. This inferiority complex we have always manifesting itself. And so I'm a little concerned about the proposal that New York State Governor, Kathy Hochul, not just signed legislation. Not just proposal, legislation she signed, targeting speeders statewide. All right, hold on a second. No, this is not going to do, but I'll take it just in the interest of morbid curiosity. Dennis in Crystal Lake, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, I need to get flexible too. I started some Tai Chi, but Pilates, me and you could make a pretty good team. I got some mats and stuff we could borrow to clean them off.
Dennis, are you partial to spandex by any chance?
I gave that up a little while ago.
Okay, good.
I'm working on something.
Okay, good. All right. Thanks for the offer, Dennis. I'll give that the consideration it deserves. Plus, I don't want to do mat Pilates. I want to do the reformer. That's what I'm used to now, and it's better. And I want it to be like intense, not just stretching out. You can do that at like the Stretch Lab or a place like that. I want to work out. Okay. Anyway, back to the speeding proposal from Kathy Hochul. It's the super speeder crackdown. And if you get more than 16 or more violations within a year period, you're required to install a so-called, quote, intelligent speed limiter technology. It's a system that prevents the vehicle from speeding. A device is wired into the car's onboard computer. What if you don't have an onboard computer? You got a vintage vehicle. Anyway, interfaces with GPS tracking to restrict the car's maximum speed to the posted speed limit. And if you don't install it after 45 days, I guess, of receiving your 16th violation, then you would lose your registration. This is Kathy Hochul explaining.
This is another area where I'm surprised at the controversy around it when it makes so much sense. You think about someone, I'm going to ask these gentlemen here, if someone gets 16 speeding tickets in a year, would you consider that an excess speeder? And that's not normal, right, guys?
No.
They're just looking for an accident. They're looking to end up in this repair shop. So what we said, we have to protect people. There's pedestrians, there's moms pushing strollers, there's people on bikes, there's kids going to school. We have to protect people. And if someone is so flagrantly violating the laws that there's a callous disregard of human life, is the only way I can describe it, there have to be consequences. Have to be. So now we have technology that says there's a device that can be installed in a vehicle that would limit how fast you can go. And I think that's what happens. There's plenty of notification. You can appeal if you want to question one of the tickets in the prod. There's due process. We'll make sure. But installing this, and if you don't install it, after 45 days, you lose your registration. You should not be on the roads if you don't care about whether or not you're going to kill somebody. And when you hug a mom, lots of moms, as I've had to do over the last few months, who've lost children, that pain never grows away, but they at least have some comfort in their hearts that maybe they can prevent the next family from having to grieve the way they did because of someone's reckless indifference to life.
Speeding and reckless driving are not synonymous. I just completely disagree with that. And I would oppose, if I was in the assembly in Albany, I would oppose this legislation. Would you? 312-642-5600 is the alphawealthgroup.com answer line and text line. I mean, for example, we've talked about this before. The speed limits, this is not, these are not scientifically derived. And to the extent they are, then show me the scholarship and let's get it peer reviewed. And let's see if you can replicate the results. Point of fact, you look at comparison of the Autobahn to U.S. interstates. The Autobahn, of course, which has significant portions of that roadway that have no speed limit. The death per 100,000 is about a third. Well, yeah, it's about a third of what it is on U.S. interstates. Now, this is more complicated than just saying speed limits or no speed limits, because the driver training required in Germany is much more substantial. And the road conditions are much better. The Autobahn doesn't look like the Dan Ryan, for example. The roads are maintained. So the traffic density is also lesser. So it's not just a single variable, which is why focusing on speeding. And by the way, if you're doing 63 in a 55, that's not the same thing as doing 123 in a 55. But you get tickets nonetheless. You didn't say 16 tickets of 20 miles or more over. It just said 16 tickets. And my other question, too, is you can get 16 tickets in a year. I mean, that's a lot. It'd be a real pain. But it's just the principle of the thing. I mean, you could do that here, and you can get court supervision. And if court supervision, you don't get it, then it doesn't go on your record and for insurance purposes and so on and so forth. So I don't know if there's an exemption for that. But the particulars are less important to me than just this idea that by going after, quote unquote, habitual speeders, you're somehow improving road safety. And I don't think there's any evidence to support that claim. Sam in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. Hey, I want to be on the record that I think Hochul's a nut job, but I have to tell you, in Illinois, you get 3 moving violations in a 12-month rolling period. You lose your driver's license.
Only if they're convictions. Only if they're convictions that go on your record. Like I mentioned, court supervision obviates each one as you go along. If you don't get a ticket during the supervision.
You're only allowed court if you have court supervision and you get ticket number 2, you lose court supervision number 1.
And it depends on how good it depends how good your defense attorney is. But go ahead.
I don't disagree with that. It's all about the lawyer. Yeah. But I won't disagree with you there. But I would say if anybody has 16 moving violations, New York needs to crack down even further on that. I can't remember the last speeding ticket I've had. So 16 moving violations in a year, the person shouldn't be on the road.
Thanks for the call, Sam. I mean, it's 16 is a lot. I've gotten a lot of speeding tickets over the course of my driving career. I've never got anywhere near double figures in a year. Okay. I have gotten, did I get 3 in a week? I may have gotten 3 in a week or 2. Maybe 2 in a day and 3 in a week. But anyway, that was a long time ago when I was, a bit more rambunctious than I am now. But no, I don't get speeding tickets that much either. Thankfully, you don't have state police so focused on speeding on the interstates and stuff. It's just like, there are more important things to do. I know all the PSAs and all the philosophy behind it, but really, no. I'm just not. So it's not the 16 number. I'm not really arguing that. I'm just arguing sort of the busybodiness of it, because once you establish this as something as a way to punish speeders, for example, it starts at 16, and they say 16, you'll have somebody, 16, you shouldn't even be on the road. You're that much of a slow learner. You should never get anywhere near that. Yeah, I agree. But, that has a tendency to creep down. If it becomes popular, you can run around saying, I'm making the road safer. Well, I'm going to make it safer than Kathy Hochul will make it. I'm going to make it 10. I'm going to make it 5. And then and whoever's providing the intelligent speed limiter technology too, how wired in are they with the politicians? We could do a lot better. We could save lives. We can prove it if you install. It's the red camera argument. Red light camera argument. It's the speed camera argument. This is the same thing. It's another technology they're introducing to regulate, to take out of your back pocket what they can't get through your front pocket. I don't like it. Jim in LaGrange.
Yeah, Dan, you're right on target. This is tangential to the gun control laws, right? Take guns away and people won't get murdered. She wasn't talking about making you a better driver. She was talking about you not killing people, which is really kind of unrealistic. So it's the same argument, but it's definitely about taking money out of your pocket. You're right. Thanks. Have a good day.
Thanks, Jim. John and Niles.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Very timely on your subject here. And I could have helped you in Naples with your Pilates guy, but I am honestly writing right now a check, 2 tickets at 2600 Peterson and 8000 Addison for 6 miles an hour over. I grew up at the Peterson neighborhood. I know every park. I defy to tell me where the park was. I looked it up. It wasn't Mather. It wasn't. And there's a couple there that are just cash registers on Peterson. And these are 6 miles an hour over.
Right.
$35.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like we had the scandal a couple years ago with how the yellow lights in the city were not long enough under state ordinance because they wanted to issue more red light camera tickets. It's all. It's ultimately it's a money grab and it's paternalistic and it will creep. It will creep. It'll creep down from 16. I guarantee it.
I put on the envelope, God's truth, attention extortion department. And it went through. There's one at Archer and Halsted, and I'll hang up, that I defied them to tell me where the park was. And I was riding my brake, and I got 6 miles an hour. I have to go in Chicago on business with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks. Good show.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Jack in Northwest Indiana.
Good morning, Dan. So every time something like this comes up, I think of Occam's razor. I love that. And I think of keeping it simple. It's nothing more than women drivers in big SUVs that cause the issues. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Jack. Or you're gonna start issuing tickets for people going 10 miles under the speed limit in the left lane, or doing 15 and a 30 and clogging up the whole situation. Those are safe drivers. You think those biddies in Subaru Outbacks are making the road safer? The Volvo driver making the road safer, driving around in a tank because they're clueless on the road? I don't think so. Ed in Overland Park.
Dan the man, how you doing, bud?
Good.
Good. Listen, real quick. It's funny. It's funny. I drive for a living, and what are they going to do when these people? They have a governor on their car, and they've got to get around a semi, and they crash into a barrier or something because they don't have enough speed to get around something. That's going to be who's going to pay for that liability? Who's going to take care of that? They're not thinking ahead here. It's
Good
crazy.
Good point. Thanks for the call. Yeah, you got to punch it sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. George in Lamont. Hey, George.
And you hit it right in the head. It's the classic trap where they say, "Oh, everybody can identify. Oh, yeah, 16 tickets. That's crazy. Of course, we should have governors." But then all of a sudden, as you said, it's going to be 5, 1, and then really, eventually, it'll be just why not every car have a governor? Why should anybody speed? It's ridiculous. And your other point you brought up is there's nothing more dangerous than somebody going under the speed limit in the left lane because everybody then is backed up trying to pass them, and everybody's trying to, that is the most dangerous situation there is, and they never ticket for that.
That's right. Thanks for the call, George. I mean, everybody, let's be real here. The what's the median speed in the left lane if it's not bumper to bumper on the expressways? It's I'd say at least 75, more like 80. Or if I'm the pace setter, more like higher than 80. But anyway, the point is, and then somebody is putting along at 62. And then you got people that can't drive, and we need the German driving training, that can't drive, and they're pacing people in the left lane that are backed up by this guy going 62 so nobody can get around anybody, and the whole thing gets jammed up. You think that's safe? Or is it safe to press down and create some space between everybody? Mm-hmm. Frank, Board of Trade.
In 2003, I passed a woman on a side street in Irvine, California. That was the last time I passed anybody.
Okay. I don't know. I don't really know what that means. Marty, Naperville.
Dan, this is perfect to end this segment with that thing you did about the bicycles the other day.
Yeah.
The guy that was behind the bicycles, you got to play that again. It was great.
I will honor that instant request momentarily. Thanks, Marty. Mary, Midway.
Oh, now if you're a repeat offender for something like shoplifting or burglary, then you don't get in trouble.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It's a great point. You can be arrested 60 times for violent crimes and still be on the L so you can light a girl on fire. I'm not joking about that. It's true. But yeah, and it's the same thing in New York. New York has no cash bail. Same thing in New York subways, which is why that's crime-ridden, and it has the city living in fear every time they go down into the subway. Right. So that you get a pass on. Really good point. Matt, Southside.
Hey, good morning, Dan. I was going to say, these are the same states and the same governors that don't mind giving illegals CDLs.
Yeah, right. Yes, right. Exactly. Another good point. Yeah. John in the loop.
Yeah, hi. When you have the speed cameras around Chicago, they say ostensibly that it's for the protection of the pedestrians, but when it comes to the loop, they let all the pedestrians just walk all over the cars, and they're not protecting the pedestrians when they, somebody's going to get hurt down there.
Yeah.
And there's a big contrast there, so we know it's for the money.
Thanks for the call, Jane. Yeah, how about those Razor scooter things, and the motorized scooters and all that stuff? How about they let people twerk on police cars without incident? By the way, just as a quick aside, Kathy Hochul said something last week, too, about the prospect that Trump would come to watch the Knicks play the Spurs at Madison Square Garden in the NBA Finals. And she didn't get called on it, too. It's like, come on. Could have been another great moment.
What do you think of him saying he's a lifelong Knicks fan? I think that's how the Times reported it.
I asked him to name the starting lineup from 1993 championship team and see how he does.
She's such a big fan. First of all, the 1993 championship was won by the Bulls. Remember Michael Jordan? He used to play for the Bulls. That was 4-2 against the Suns. Secondly, my response, if I was a member of the press corps, to that little quip, why don't you name the 1993 starting lineup of the Knicks? Can you? Can you name a player on that team? I'll give you Patrick Ewing. Name the other four in starting lineup. I can name them. I bet Kathy Hochul can't. Big fan, though. Bill, Northwest Side.
Yeah, how did she come up with the ridiculous 16 numbers? Why not 20? Why not 30?
It's like,
why not 50?
It's like speed limits. It's arbitrary. Why is it 25 and not 30, 35 and not 30, 40 and not 35?
What did she do, spin the wheel?
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Where do you come up with 16? That's good. You get 4 a quarter? I don't know. Ron, Southside.
Well, I disagree with probably everybody that calls this morning. That's a pet peeve of that people speeding. Dan, you said they take the money from your back pocket. If you follow the rules, if it say the speed limit is 65, like the guy say got ticket, He said, well, I know that neighborhood. Well, you should have known. I have no sympathy for people to get any kind of ticket. Boots. I used to go and pay my water bill in the city facility, but I figured another way of doing it because people in there grumbling. The line.
Why are you paying? Wait a second. Why are you paying your water bill? Brandon Johnson doesn't. You don't have to.
Yeah, but no, man. That's a deal.
Ron.
And Dan, but it's a bigger issue. Red lights and
yeah.
So a people lady that close associate of my friend back, my wife, got killed right near my house on that, and they see that the whole speeding. Just slow down, don't run red lights. But as far as tickets and getting boots, be responsible. Guess what? Get a bus card.
All right, Ron. Look, there are some people like Sammy Hagar and myself that can't drive 55. We just can't do it. Les, Niles, Michigan.
Yeah, it's kind of strange how she's more worried about speeders than illegal aliens. She doesn't apply the same danger of certain things, only the ones they pick and choose. So
indeed. Thanks for the call, Les. All right, we got to honor Marty from Naperville's instant request. So this whole nother issue, in addition to slowpokes, obstructionists, pacers on the road, all of these Lance Armstrong wannabes, and one of the great rants of all time. This is to cyclists what Lee Elia's rant was to Cubs fans.
I cannot stand these bicyclists. When I'm doing 30 and a 50 because I'm stuck behind 8 grown men dressed like radioactive highlighters, I start to develop opinions. Why the are you guys riding 3 deep down the road? Like they're not handing out gold medals at the end of this cul-de-sac, Kyle. And why the you wear the spandex with all the sponsor names? Like, nobody is looking at you and saying, oh, this 43-year-old might be the future of athletics. Nobody looks like they're having fun. Nobody is smiling. They look like they're transporting organs that have to be to the hospital in 6 minutes or less. Meanwhile, traffic is backed up 3 zip codes because Chad in his tour to midlife crisis thinks the road belongs to him and Team Spandex Thunder. And then when you go to pass them, they throw their hands up like you're the villain, like you just violated the Geneva Convention. Meanwhile, you just spent $10,000 to be the world's most expensive inconvenience. And why do these guys travel in packs? 1 bicyclist, sure, I can handle that. But 8 of them? That's a tactical formation. That's a infantry unit. And they roll up on you sounding like a flock of asthmatic geese.
I mean, tour to midlife crisis. My favorite ad hominem in that rant. And they are. The cyclists, it's 8, like 80. They're like a pestilence. All right, let's turn it over to Mike Scott for that.
8:32 in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Well, if you're bike riding today, sunny and pleasant and a high of 75. Primary elections taking place today in a half dozen states where voters are deciding House, Senate, and governor's races in Montana, Iowa, New Jersey, New Mexico, South Dakota, and California. 7, including a gunman, are dead after multiple shootings in Iowa. Muscatine Police Chief Anthony Keyes.
The adult male suspect had left the residence prior to law enforcement's arrival, but was quickly identified as Ryan Willis McFarland, 52 years, Muscatine, Iowa. Officers located McFarland on the Riverfront Trail near the pedestrian bridge. While talking to Ryan Willis McFarland, he took his own life.
Muscatine Chief Anthony Keyes. Illinois lawmakers sending a new ban on immigration detention centers in the state to Governor Pritzker's desk. Existing facilities like the ICE Processing Center in Broadview would not be impacted by that legislation. Authorities are investigating a deadly stabbing on the south side. Police say the victim was found stabbed last night in the 8000 block of South Ellis, pronounced dead at the scene. No arrests have been made. A water park in Orland Park closed after possibly being linked to a pair of E. coli cases is set to reopen today. Centennial Park Aquatic Center will reopen following a review of that facility and completion of some recommended health and safety procedures. White Sox had their 5-game winning streak snap with a 9-6 loss to the Twins. Cubs begin a 6-game homestand at Wrigley Field. Bears back at Hallis for OTAs. 8:34, we'll have a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
It's almost time for AM 560's annual golf outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation as they support America's first responder and military heroes to help America never forget 9/11. It's all happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. Enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dring at leavingil.com.
Chicagoland certified financial planning professional Tim Stearns discusses taxes in retirement.
Most people are paying more in taxes and keeping less of their money to live and do what they enjoy. That's why we've put out the retirement tax bill calculator online. You can see with your own eyes just how much you might be overpaying. It's a valuable tool, $500 value, but we made it free for you to view and run your own numbers at mvpcfp.com. That's mvpcfp.com.
To run your retirement tax bill calculator, go to mvpcfp.com. Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC.
Welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tim. My friend Tim Stearns, a certified financial planner with TJ Stearns Financial Planning in Arlington Heights. Tim, how are you? Welcome back.
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Tim, for more than 25 years, you've been helping clients achieve financial security and peace of mind, which has to be rewarding. Doing it a long time. You've got a lot of success stories on a daily basis, I'm sure. Can you give our listeners an example of a family that you've helped out recently that comes to mind?
We had a 65-year-old call who had been listening to your show, and he called us and he said, he wanted to know, do I have enough assets? I'm really tired of working. I'm burnt out, et cetera. And he didn't know if he had the resources, and he didn't have the knowledge to get to the answer of that. So we helped him prepare a Protect and Grow blueprint. And by doing that, we helped position his money for income and cut back on the risks that they had in their current portfolio.
Thank you, Tim. If you're in your 50s or 60s, I want you to speak with my friend Tim Stearns, TJ Stearns Financial Planning. Tim will help you structure and optimize your savings to prepare for 20 to 30 years of enjoyable retirement. Call Tim today to schedule your free consultation and get your free Protect and Grow blueprint. Call 1-800-640-2256. Again, that number, 800-640-2256. Tell him I sent you when you call Tim at 800-640-2256.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only two good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering 24/7 security solutions for homes and businesses. Call them today at 708-889-5600.
8:37, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. A service of Summit Racing Equipment. Rev up. Father's Day gift giving at summitracing.com. A Summit Racing gift card, maybe. Shop summitracing.com, plus enroll in the rewards program to get more power in every purchase. Accident left lane outbound on the Kennedy just after Harlem Avenue. Dan Ryan stop and go inbound. In the locals, you'll hit the brakes starting at 51st all the way up to Roosevelt. Vehicle fire burning two right lanes blocked. It's southbound on I-57 just before Volmer Road. Traffic, we understand, is passing by the scene on the shoulder this morning. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now a check of your forecast in the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center. Sunny and pleasant, I-75. Clear skies overnight, a low of 53.
latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. A interesting observation from Robert Pondicio's commencement address at the Atlantic Classical Academy last month. This was excerpted in the Wall Street Journal. He writes, thinking, obviously, ahead to our AI revolution and the impacts. He writes, or he offered to the graduating students, we didn't stop watching movies, we stopped watching them together. And if we're not careful, we won't stop learning, but we may stop learning the same things. We may stop learning together. You're entering a world that will invite you constantly, subtly, persuasively to make everything your own. Your feed, your news, your entertainment, your education, your life. And there's something appealing about that, something humane even. Many of the changes I've described emerged for good reasons, to give people more opportunity, more flexibility, more agency over their own lives. The question your generation will face is not whether the future will be more personalized, more technological, or more customized. It will be. The question is whether, amid all that change, you will still believe there are some things worth experiencing together, some books worth reading in common, some ideas worth wrestling with collectively, some civic and cultural inheritance worth passing on. That's a good riff. I like that. Thought-provoking as we wrestle with, and after the release of Pope Leo's encyclical, the debate, at the everyman level, how AI should and perhaps should not function. The arguments over where regulation is warranted and where it's more consideration and a reflection of societal norms that should be encouraged. For more on this and other topics, please be joined by David Kruger, Assistant Professor in Robust Reasoning and Responsible AI at the University of Montreal. He's also the founder of Evitable, a nonprofit organization that educates the public about the risks of AI. Professor Kruger, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
What do you think about that, about sort of the, we've talked a lot about sort of the atomization of the individual doing things solo. The spike in loneliness, not just during the lockdowns, but in the digital age, and the sort of question that Pondicio puts to the graduates of that school that obviously can apply to the public at large, which is about things that are hyper-tailored to your life, great, but are there spaces and should there be conscious choices made to do things, experience things together?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. I mean, I think obviously everybody, or virtually everybody, finds human connection to be one of the most important, valuable, meaningful things in their life. So it's definitely something we should be watching for, thinking about, concerned about even, the prospect that hyper-customized, tailorized AI systems or other technology could really erode that aspect of our lives further and further. And of course, if that happens gradually, there might not be any particular moment when we kind of wake up and are like, oh, wow, this is not what I want.
Also, you mentioned something in a discussion over at News Nation about AI, about gig AI training. Sort of, data. There's data is big business, as we know, and it's getting to be even bigger business with the advent of AI. And you have some cautions about sharing all of your personal data, and what are those?
For sure, yeah. there's a lot. So, I mean, first of all, we've been told, like with social media in the past, right, that this technology was going to bring us all together more. And I mean, that certainly happened to some extent in some ways, but also the companies building social media, and many of the same companies now building AI, they're really driven by a profit motive and an advertising business model in the case of social media, and now OpenAI also including that in their product. And so that means that the data that you give them to customize their services to you and make recommendations is also being used essentially to advertise to you and to manipulate you to get you to buy products or, whatever the advertising is trying to do. And AI is going to take this to the next level compared to social media. The algorithms that social media was using for this kind of customization are just incredibly stupid compared to AI systems, and especially the AI systems of the future. So I worry that AI will be able to completely, understand and predict and manipulate you better than maybe the people who know you best. I compare it to having like a team of private detectives following you around, watching your every move. If you start giving away, all of your personal data, because AI is actually going to be able to make sense of that in a way that previous algorithms were not able to.
So how did you receive the lawsuit that was filed by the Florida Attorney General against OpenAI and Sam Altman, alleging they knowingly released an unsafe AI product, and for example, it led one individual in particular to commit suicide? And there's been a few stories like that where you have somebody that's having a suicidal ideation, that's in a mental health crisis, and the chatbot becomes their friend. How do I commit suicide? And there's resistance, but ultimately, as the individual presses on, AI provides. AI acts like allegedly or ostensibly is the basis for this suit, an accomplice, and this is what the Florida AG is suggesting. Do you think that is a fair responsibility to hoist up upon AI, or do we have to remember that we have agency here too, and parental oversight and other matters, as with any technology?
No, I mean, we absolutely have agency, but I was thinking about this when that news came out, or actually I'm not sure if I'm thinking the same one, because the one that I saw, it was about a shooting rather than a suicide. And the allegation was that the AI coached somebody to do a school shooting, which is, obviously horrible. And I think, an important comparison is, in my mind, is what if you had a company whose employees, like when you called them up, their call center, every now and then their employees would, tell you to go shoot people. Like if you're like, hey, I'm just calling because I am really angry and I want to go kill some people. And they were like, hey, that's a great idea. Have a happy shooting. We would not tolerate that. And I think that's actually a pretty good analogy here. If AI companies can't control their AI systems well enough to stop them from doing something like that, I think that's unacceptable. And it shows, how limited both the technical guardrails and the sort of governance and policy and the resulting willingness of the companies to actually implement best practices are. Now, I don't think if they did everything that they could to try and make these systems safe, that they actually could. That's an outstanding research problem, or really a collection of outstanding research problems that I've spent a good chunk of my career working on. I think that's one of the most important things for people to realize, is that we actually just don't know well enough how to control these systems. And that being said, they could do a lot better if they really were trying. And there are reports that they knew that their AI systems were prone to this kind of behavior, and these risks were foreseen.
And is those incidents that have been reported, like the one you referenced, the one I referenced, as the basis, at least in part, for this lawsuit filed by the Florida State Attorney General, is that what you're thinking of, sort of growing exponentially when you call for concerns and guardrails with respect to building autonomous superhuman AI, as it's sort of termed. I mean, that's in part what, frankly, Pope Leo was referencing and what we were discussing last week in a lot of quarters, which is whether or not AI becomes a tool that makes us more or less human, and how we sort of drive the more human conclusion.
Yeah. Well, the future is really hard to predict. So I do worry about that kind of thing. I think the way that it plays out might be, much stranger than you might imagine just looking at these tragic incidents. But it's not actually, like, my biggest concern is more that AI will actually lead to the end of humanity entirely. And that's a concern that's widely shared by other experts at this point. I mean, I've been talking to people in the field about this for like a dozen years, basically since I started as a master's student. And, more and more people over time are worried about that because, we don't know how to control the systems and keep them safe. That's, in a sense, that's, I was going to say that's fine now, but obviously it's not fine because people are dying. But it's not leading to the end of humanity. It's not leading to, these large-scale catastrophic risks of millions of deaths right now. But that could be like just around the corner because of the abilities of AI to uplift currently cyber attacks, but in the near future it could be bioweapons. And we don't have the ability to keep people from misusing these systems. The guardrails that are designed to prevent that misuse are reliably capable of being bypassed. And those kinds of capabilities are going to be available to everyone because of open source, open weight models, within a few years of when they're developed if we don't regulate it. So
I mean, just the sort of the apocalyptic predictions. I mean, just and you were getting to it, but I just wanted to put more bones on it. I mean, the sorts of things that we need to conceptualize to take preventative measures. You're saying that AI systems could autonomously hack into weapons caches or reservoirs or something and do something that would kill human beings. That's a concern that somehow this could happen autonomously. But is that the concern? And like, what's a scenario by which AI would develop and be able to act autonomously in that destruction, to essentially rise of the machine sort of thing?
Right. So there's a ton of concerns, and any one of them on its own might be enough to call the whole project into question. What I was just alluding to is more the misuse or bad actor concern as people talk about it. So think about terrorists or school shooters, people who do just want to cause a lot of harm. If it becomes much easier for them to kill millions of people because AI can coach them through, not just a shooting, but the creation of a novel pandemic, then that be, disastrous. But in the longer run, or still maybe quite soon though, I do worry about AI systems becoming more and more autonomous to the point where we're not able to shut them down anymore. So
is that a trend? Yeah, I mean, just sorry to interrupt, but that sort of ability to bypass, what is your sense of what the thinking is going on, or the concurrent technological development is happening at these big AI operations?
Well, it's kind of insane, honestly. I mean, people are racing to build the systems, make them more powerful and autonomous as quickly as possible. And the latest step in that they've started talking about very openly, that they are pursuing at places like OpenAI and Anthropic, is called recursive self-improvement. So this is an idea that was very, conceptual for a long time. It's the idea that you use AI to make smarter AI, and then that smarter AI can make even smarter AI. And as you do this, you can take humans out of the loop completely, automate the entire process of making smarter and smarter AI systems. And then a lot of people predict that this will lead to an intelligence explosion, where we go from AI systems like, the ones that we have today, or maybe later this year or next year, to ones that are vastly superhuman in a matter of maybe weeks or months, because the AI can work so fast and is getting smarter so fast. So that's something that people at the AI companies are taking very seriously and are trying to make happen. And as they do that, they're going to be essentially taking their hands off the wheel and letting the AI make all the decisions about, what the next AI system should look like. So it's incredibly dangerous. It's a completely insane thing that nobody should be doing, but they're doing it.
Interesting. Wow. All right. Well, that's a lot to think about, too. We're going to have you back to discuss the recursive self-improvement threat in more detail, but that's something to definitely talk about and think about. David Kruger, assistant professor in robust reasoning and responsible AI at the University of Montreal. He's also the founder of Evitable, a nonprofit organization that educates the public about the risks of AI, as we were just discussing. Recursive self-improvement. Okay, I wrote that phrase down. Going to look up that. Professor Kruger, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And he joined us on the AlphaWealthGroup.com answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responder and military heroes, to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing campaign, which includes 25 one-minute commercials to air on AM 560 Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dream at leavingil.com.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You've got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
Streaming services, retail chains, and tech giants are all adding plus to their names. It's fairly obvious they were inspired by Hassellus Mattress. Hassellus showrooms are employee-free, plus unbeatable prices on Tempur-Pedic, plus free next-day delivery, plus 60-month interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic with approved credit, plus a $300 MasterCard gift card with your Tempur-Pedic mattress. Maybe we should change our name to Hassellus Plus. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hassellus.com.
Let me ask you something. Does your garage floor look bad? Covered in salt, cracked, or stained from the winter's brutal blast? Well, I've got a fix for you so you can start enjoying your garage this spring. Contact my good friends at Level 10 Coatings. Level 10 brought my garage floor from dirty and gross to showroom, shiny new in just one day. Level 10 Coatings can do the same for you. A quick and easy fix, permanent durable solution. Guaranteed to never chip or peel. Get it done now so you can enjoy your garage this spring and summer. Schedule your free quote today and mention me, Amy, for $500 off. Visit level10coatings.com. That's level, the number 10, coatings.com. Level10coatings.com or call 855-510-2628. Again, that's 855-510-2628. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
AM 560, The Answer.
Text from 224 iRobot. Yeah, that's sort of what it sounded like, didn't it? I hope the reality is better than the Will Smith movie. Thanks for joining us on another edition of Chicago's Morning Answer. Back with more wit and wisdom tomorrow. And again, I'm taking recommendations for Pilates instructors / studios in the Chicagoland area. So keep them coming. It's now 9 o'clock on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
Make California great again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump's calling.